because I never mute it. Closing Facebook.
I'm not even going to try to go downstairs today.
All right, we are live. Welcome everybody back to Fresh Vinyl Live. Ramp up episode before G-Fest. Tonight we're going to be talking about some new X Plus stuff. Some, no, maybe a lot. And what's going on at G-Fest, things that we're involved with. Talk about just the guests and whatnot that are going to be there. But first, I'd like to introduce David Dopko, Jeremy Souls, and Steve Saragoli. John is going to be here shortly. John with Screonk.com. I got it right. You know, I decided to say it right because I usually like to say it wrong just because I usually do. But we'll save that for another time. So, what I'm going to do first for everybody that is tuned in right now, we're going to go over all the new X Plus stuff that's coming out from like today up until the stuff that was announced going into September. So this is going to be like a kind of a boring little quick PowerPoint that I made. And I'm going to actually tell you, like when I made the PowerPoint today, I'm like, what else am I forgetting? And I'm like going on the Rick site and Hobby Search to look up the pictures. And I'm like, oh, I forgot that. Oh, I forgot that. I forgot that. I'm like mind blown because X Plus does not care about our wallets at all. So I'm going to share my screen and pull up the PowerPoint. And we're just going to start talking about the new stuff that is coming out. So can you guys that are with me, can you see the PowerPoint?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. So that says X Plus. Bam. All right. So first up, this figure set is on its way, crossing the ocean, coming from Japan into collectors' hands. I've seen it already pop up on the X Plus collectors group. It is the 25 centimeter Sanda and Gaira. What you're looking at in the picture right there is the Rick exclusive version that has Sanda and Gaira posed as if they are doing their little duet on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, fighting in Tokyo. So that's the Rick version. The standard versions are basically just, they kind of look like just small versions of the 30 centimeter. Kind of. I'll have to compare them when I get them. But this set, pretty awesome. You know, a lot of collectors were hoping to get another 30 centimeter Gaira and Sanda reissue, but X Plus surprised everybody and say, hey, bam, here is a 25 centimeter version that comes with the Rick with the base and they're fighting, or you can just get the standards and, you know, just have them just stand there and whatnot. The standards were roughly about $100 a piece. So to get standards, you're looking at $200 together. The Rick set, I think, was around I'm just going to guesstimate somewhere between $225, $250, give or take, you know, a couple bucks here and there. Shipping probably around $40, $50 too. So not really bad for two figures that have not seen a release in the 25 centimeter scale. And, you know, especially coming off of the 30 centimeters that are just, you know, you're not really going to see those happen again because they were first, they came out as build-up kits, right, guys?
They were kits.
Yeah.
Actually, they were model kits. They were vinyl model kits before X Plus mass produced them into figures. And I'm one of the few people that I think the only one that actually has the kits. So I was able to paint mine the way I wanted to. And there's a little bit more detail in the vinyl kits than there are in the vinyl figure releases. And then they were released a second time in that set, if I'm not mistaken, about what, 3 or 4 years ago? The double pack set. And pretty much the same thing, but the very different paint schemes. Oh, and Steve, probably you know this too. There's also a Wonderfest set with like bloody Gaira too, right?
There's a better painted set, and Gaira has the blood on it. This is the Wonderfest exclusive. Then there's the Diamond release, which is the disappointing paint version that you and I have touched up more than we can count.
That is true.
There's the Plex versions, which are the vinyl kits. I think they got a reissue at one point. I know I've handled them.
Well,
and you're right, they are more detailed.
And if I'm not mistaken, I could be though. Even before the plastic, the vinyl issues, there was resin versions of it, which I would have loved to have had. That would have been the ultimate in, you know, detail and sculpt to getting the resin versions. But I've actually never seen them in my life, so
I've seen the resin ones once.
Wow. Yeah.
Just once, but they do exist.
Cool.
Nice. So, lots of versions of those figures. Yeah, I actually liked the Wonderfest one that had the blood on Gaira. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably the best paint job that X Plus did.
Yeah, that's the one.
Concerned. You know, as Rich was saying, the Rick figures are in a grappling pose, but you can also pose them as if they come with an alternate set of arms, so they can be separate figures as well, right?
Correct.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So those I will for anybody that watches the reviews, I will have those probably sometime early next week. I will knock a review out for those swiftly, and I'll be doing that on some new gear finally. All right, moving on. Another figure that everybody has been, you know, since the X Plus boom.
Oh yeah.
This is one figure that many new X Plus collectors over the past 4 or 5 years have wanted to get their hands on. The 1956 25 centimeter Rodan. I just reviewed this figure, and as I mentioned in my review, I bought the figure in 2013. It was one of the first figures that I actually got my grubby hands on, and I never reviewed it until now. So it was quite fitting to go back and review this figure as it's being released the end of this month. As far as I know, there has been no delay on the release of this figure. The Rick version, and it's a Rick only reissue, which means you cannot get it from Hobby Search or AmiAmi, HobbyLink Japan, or any of those sites. The only way to obtain one is if you are able to purchase directly from a forwarding service on the Rick site, or if you know somebody like Jim Cirinello, Mike Johnson, or any other source that's able to make a purchase for you, like, you know, just a forwarding service. It's also a limited, so it's going to be very limited. Not a wide release, but that figure, it's about $120, give or take, you know, based off of the conversion rate that's listed on the Rick site. So that is coming at the end of the month. Very cool. I know John is not on with us, but this was one figure that he was hunting down for a long time, and it was awesome when he got his. The original Rick came with a mini Mega Nulon. This version, I don't have a picture of it, but this version's coming with a mini flying Rodan to go with. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the Rodan? Is it a Condor? I can't remember.
What about the Condor?
Is it a Condor or a Rodan?
No, it's Rodan. Yeah,
oh, cool.
The Condor,
okay. Nice.
Giant Condor has nothing, is never, you know, it's not connected with anything Rodan. So, but it's a mini flying Rodan. It kind of looks like the mini version of that came with, I think, the 30 centimeter Rodan, or one of the, I think the original 25 centimeter Rodan 64 had a Mothra larva.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah. So mini flying Rodan coming with this Rick only reissue Rodan 1956. Very cool. And from studying the pictures, this picture is actually mine that I took. But having compared the pictures from the Rick site, the paint jobs look nearly identical. But, you know, we won't know until the figure's made its release. And either way, great figure. Looks great. And also, I think this is the most meanest and best looking Rodan that ever came to be. So the first and the best. The 1964 version obviously looks like a chicken. Yep, like a Phil. And but this one's a badass. So if anybody that picked this figure up, you're in for a treat because this is the badass Rodan. Okay, bam. Moving on. Another reissue, Rick only, 25 centimeter Mothra with 2 larvae, and the Mothra lights up. Wait, we'll skip. Oh, too far. Fun stuff later. So this figure comes out again the end of the month. Not like that June's loaded with releases, anyways. The 2 Mothra larvae that are being released with that set, I think the Mothra larva that's curled is from the 1964 Godzilla 25 centimeter Rick release.
That's correct.
The second larva that's got his head propped up is from the 25 centimeter Rodan Rick release. So interesting that they combined those two, because I had compared my 2 larvae that came with the 64 and the second larva that has his head propped up and his midsections up a little bit. It's different from the second larva that came with the 25 centimeter Godzilla 64, where that one, it's just his head's up and his body's just straight down and out. So pretty cool. And the Mothra lights up. So it's like a double Rick or like a triple Rick option there. 2 larvas and a light up eyes. For those that are in the X Plus group, I did have a little near mishap with my 25 centimeter Mothra larva with the base. The figure, it's leaning on the rod and trying to do a nosedive off my shelf because I had them on the top. Probably due because it's warm out in the room. I don't have the air conditioning on right now. And because the vinyl, when it gets warm, it gets soft. But the hole in my base, and for those of you that are picking up this figure, be careful. You know, take a good look at the figure when you put it on the rod and on the base, and make sure it is perfectly straight up and down. Because if there's any lean, there's a risk of the figure leaning and taking a tumble, because those wings are made out of ABS plastic. If it falls, it's going to break and not going to be a fresh camper. So basically what I did, for anybody that's in the X Plus group, I took the stand off. I just put Mothra on top of the rock base, kind of with her wing over the egg, as it looked like in Mothra 64. Mothra versus Godzilla. And it works out really good. I actually dig it because it's different. I'm looking at it right now. And I don't have to worry about the damn thing falling off the shelf. Because
that's a good idea.
It's not ideal on how the figure was meant to be displayed, but the hole in my base, it wasn't drilled perfectly straight. And like if you take the rod, you can feel like just by playing with it that something's wrong inside there. So that's why I did what I did. It's not worth the risk to have it fall off the shelf. No matter if it's on the bottom shelf or the top shelf, I'm happy with it the way I have it. So that figure comes out the end of the month along with Rodan, the Gargantuas were already released, and then another figure. Oh, wait, a couple more. We'll get there. So that's fun to look forward to. Moving on. 25 centimeter Space Godzilla with little G. Bam. This figure was teased back in, I think, the end of the summer, early fall, one of those other, toy shows. I don't remember. It might have been the Miyazawa toy exhibition. I can't remember. But the first edition of Space Godzilla was a stylized approach. So they retooled this figure to look more suit accurate. And the Rick option is obviously the little Godzilla, which is awesome because I'm glad it's not a light up, because if it was a light up Space Godzilla, I would have skipped the Rick and just went standard. It's great to see X Plus return to a vinyl Rick piece extra, because it seems like we've been getting nothing but light ups from X Plus with the Rick options for a long, long time. Because there's been plenty of figures that have come out that had a Rick light up, where many of us have thought, oh, it would have been cool if they did this for this figure instead of a light up. Me personally, and I'll let you guys go into it once we go back into talking these figures. I'm kind of burnt out, and pun intended, of light ups, because I've had stuff just literally burn out on me on reviews, or they're kind of like, meh. I'm like, cool, another LED dorsal plates. I'm like, boring. So that's why I'm kind of going standard on some stuff these days, because I just don't need another light up. Anyway, so if you're going for the Rick, you get the little Godzilla. If you're going for the standard, you just get Space Godzilla. The figure itself, I think, was around $110 standard. The Rick it's going to fall somewhere around $130, $35 or whatnot. I don't know. Comes out, I think, the end of July. So that's awesome. It's good to get something that we haven't got before as far as a little Godzilla goes. So that solves the little Godzilla debacle. Okay, good. Moving on. Frankenstein. Oh boy. I am, as David would say, happy as a pig in shit for this release. Very, very excited. This is one figure that I've been asking for to the Fresh Vinyl gods. Please, 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 please. I want a Frankenstein, because the only Frankenstein I have is I got a M1 Frankenstein that's still packed up downstairs, and I'm sorry, M1 figure. I'll get you out sooner or later. But I'm very excited for this 25 centimeter Frankenstein release. I'm going standard because the Rick comes with a 25 centimeter crawling Baragon, which is awesome for that figure to get a reissue. But I already have one, and I just don't really need another one, nor do I want to go through the hassle trying to sell another one or selling one, even though I probably could sell it pretty easy, but whatever. And the Frankenstein comes with an extra set of arms that are propped up, and he's holding one of the male characters from the movie. I don't remember his name.
Dr. Kawaji.
There you go. I knew. See? Good job, David. But yeah, so I mean, it does look cool, but I'm fine with it. I like the Frankenstein just standing there with his arms out anyways. So that figure comes out the end of this month also. So that is priced probably around $100. It's not a very vinyl heavy figure. You know, it's humanoid. So there's less vinyl there. So it should be right around $100 for the standard version. The Rick version with the extra arms and what'd you say, Kawachi?
Dr. Kawaji.
Kawachi. That's almost like a dubstep name for an artist that I listen to, but don't worry about that. And so the Rick version with Baragon and the Doctor in his hands, that's around $300. I'm just going to average up to it's going to be around probably $300, give or take. So for those of you guys getting that,
that's an amazing price for the Baragon and the Frankenstein. If you don't have it, that's like a deal, because Rich, you probably remember that I was looking for that Baragon that was one of the first Holy Grails that I had. And I finally found one, but it took me about a year to hunt one down, and to be able to get one with the Frankenstein for $300 and change, that's pretty unprecedented, you know? So definitely a great Rick if you don't have the Baragon. And like Rich, I'm going with the standard too, because I already have the Baragon, as I just said. But I am so excited about this figure because it's one of my favorite Toho films with one of my favorite soundtracks and really interesting story and just all around awesome. And Rich and I were both praying to the X Plus gods for this figure to come out. And I actually never thought it would because of the licensing rights, but somehow they were able to do it after the actor who played Frankenstein passed away, and they were able to use his likeness. I'm not exactly sure how that all went down, but it does really resemble the actor who played Frankenstein. And again, David? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt or commandeer, but
it's good information. Good information.
David, I'm told the family gave their approval. I'm told his family gave their approval.
What happened? Did we freeze up?
No, we're still here. Steve, okay. Go ahead with details you have.
I'm told that the family gave their approval for his likeness rights.
Finally. Okay. That makes sense. But I know he passed away almost the same time that they were able to do that. So maybe out of respect, they didn't want to give the rights when he was still alive, or
he was alive. Only he could, and he
right. And he didn't want to do it. Okay.
He did not. No.
So of all figures coming out, I am and many of us are really, really excited about that. And for those of you out there who are maybe new to the Toho scape of films, please check that movie out. It's really, really good. It's worth a watch. And the Japanese version has some scenes that are cut out of the US version. So hunt it down, check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. And in Japan, it's basically a prequel to War of the Gargantuas. They don't treat it like that in the US version as much, but in the Japanese version, War of the Gargantuas is called Sanda versus Gaira, Frankenstein Monsters, or Frankenstein Monsters, Sanda versus Gaira. Yep. So basically, it's a direct sequel to Frankenstein versus Baragon. So anyway, that's a little bit of info, and again, I'm stoked.
So all right, David and I are going standard. Steve, are you getting one?
I have a question. Do you know why he didn't want his likeness to be used? Was there an issue with that or something?
Yeah, do you want me to fill you in on that?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm pretty curious about that, actually.
So I don't know how much he did or didn't want to. You know, I do a lot of work with YMSF, and there's a YMSF sculpt in 6 inches. David, I think you've seen it for Frankenstein.
I have, yes.
Yes, and what happened, as it was explained to me, he became like a hermit, living in solitude up in the mountains. And when we approached Toho about it, they were like, well, you have to get his likeness rights to sign off, because unlike in America, sign a contract to be in a movie. Sometimes they include likeness rights. If you're a big enough star, you can negotiate that separate. When Japan, they automatically protect the actor. So he couldn't sign away his rights. They were his. So I know they reached out to the family, and, long story short, not to speak for the family, they basically said, piss off, leave him alone. So yeah, he just wanted nothing to do with the world as it was explained to me. So,
okay,
So I have a question too, and I should know this, but it's called straight up Frankenstein because I know it's difficult to get the rights to the name Frankenstein too.
it's actually not.
I didn't think so because
Frankenstein's public. The name Frankenstein is public domain now.
Okay.
So that was never the issue. It was never a licensing issue. It was straight up a likeness rights issue. There's John.
There's John. Hi, John.
Got it? Yeah, straight up likeness rights.
Yeah, because I know they've done kits, some resin kits in the past, and they had to call it things like Giant Mutated Atomic Boy instead of Frankenstein.
That's to get that's basically like all garage kits to get around any sort of issues.
So that Frankenstein was in the realm of King Kong. One of the reason we don't get a Kong is because of the licensing issues too. Clearly, it's
a little different.
It's not public domain, right?
Yeah, Kong is a little different just because it's still owned by Universal, but they claim to not own the 62 or 67. Toho made those films, but claims the rights reverted back to Universal. So neither side claims rights. I'm sure if someone as big as X Plus made something of a Kong, that someone would, or both parties would try and claim those rights because there's someone to go after. Mechani-Kong is just the opposite. Mechani-Kong was not even a Toho creation, even though he's in a Toho film.
It's Rankin Bass.
Created by Rankin Bass. And although they're gone, that family still owns those assets.
So all we're saying here is it may be sometime before we see an X Plus Kong of any sort, right? I know they're very interested in making one because I know, G loves King Kong and he's really interested in making one, but I think as soon as they're able to, they will absolutely do one. So
in the meanwhile, I know a guy.
You do. Yeah, you do.
This belongs to Rich.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I can't wait to get mine too. I'm excited for that.
Yes, Jeremy, you will have it before G-Fest.
Yeah, hurry up, David.
You know what? Perfection takes time.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. All right. So, Jeremy, are you getting a Frankenstein?
Actually, I skipped out on those. I have a weird thing about collecting people.
Oh,
the things that look like people. So
you want to? Are you afraid they're going to come to life?
Yes, exactly.
I always imagine my figures come to life when I'm not home, and I want to like walk in and catch them. I'm like, guys, like really? After 25 years, now I find out. Like we could have been having activities and games and all kinds of sleepovers and all kinds of weird stuff. But anyway, all right. Well, maybe not the weird stuff. Don't imagine anything, people. Just don't. Shut up, James, because I know you're going to say something. All right, moving on. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, we forgot about one. So I should have pulled this up. There's Dr. Kawachi. Kawachi. See, I'm saying the dubstep guy's name. Kawachi. There he is in Frankenstein's hands. There's a 25-centimeter crawling Baragon. Awesome. And I believe the standard version is the same as the Rick, but the eyes, you could adjust the eyes. You're going to have to peel off Frankie's face, and you could adjust his eyes to make him look one way. I'm probably going to make him cross-eyed just for the fun of it, just because we'll be able to. So I think that'll look funny. But anyway, so there's your Rick options compared to the standard. All right. Boom. Also, real quick, if you are familiar with the 25-centimeter Daimajin figure, you can do the same thing with those. So that's how those eyes are going to work. And bam. All right. Oh, joy. 30-centimeter anime Goji, Annie Goji, Earth Godzilla, whatever the hell we're calling it. This figure also comes out the end of this month. It was supposed to come out the end of May, but it was pushed back till the end of this month, supposedly. There's no official release date, but it's coming out soon. I don't have a picture of the Rick, but the Rick looks like a sunset version. He's kind of golden brown and whatnot. I originally was not going to get this figure, but I did order one only because of the purpose that I figured if I'm going to have one version of this Godzilla, it might as well be the X Plus version. I skipped everything else. I didn't bother with any of the Bandai stuff or any other crap. But I mean, the film, we could talk about the film at another point in time, but it just didn't whatever. I tried watching it again and I fell asleep. But I got this version. I'm getting the standard from Hobby Search. I think maybe like $160 or something like that from Hobby Search. So that's pretty cool. Any of you guys getting this one?
Yeah. Yep. I'm getting the sunset version just because I like that version of it. But
yeah, it does look cool. I mean, and I think you really can't go wrong with either version because it's really going to stand out amongst all the other charcoal gray style figures that we have of Godzilla. So, I mean, it's an interesting design. It kind of reminds me of the legendary Godzilla, just old and looks like he got stuck in a thorn bush and they grew all over him or something. I don't know. But, or it's like they peeled off his skin and it's all like membrane. But apparently he's like a plant or some weird crap. But
did any of you go with the SD version of this figure or this character?
No.
This one. No.
I do have a picture of that. We'll talk about that when we get up to it. But so I'm going standard. Jeremy, you're going Rick, David, or Steve, or John?
I'm actually going to pass on it. I think it's kind of an interesting design. I like his beard, but you know, I'm at the point now, and maybe we'll talk about this on the Fresh Final Live at G-Fest. I'm at the point now where my collection is at capacity, and I really have to be super careful of what I bring into it. And I'm literally now at the stage of wanting one out. And that's like about 3 out because it looks like it's going to have a huge footprint on the shelf. So if I'm not completely in love with the figure, I'm going to, you know, reluctantly pass on it. So, but no, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think it's interesting, but it's not going to be, I'm not getting it. No.
Cool. All right. Fair enough. Very and justified. That's a good topic. We'll have to reconvene after the show, or you know, obviously before G-Fest for our topics for Fresh Wine Alive at G-Fest at 12 o'clock in Ballroom 1 on Saturday. People, there's my shameless plug.
I think John's getting one.
What's that?
John Bumpus is getting one, right?
Yep. I'm getting the 30 standard.
Are you not getting the brown one?
No, I wanted to get the one that looks like the actual creature.
Gotcha. Good.
Steve, what about you?
No, I ordered the orange one for James, but it's not my jam.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you. All right, cool. Moving on. All right, Mogera, Mobile Operations Godzilla, whatever. I don't remember what it stands for. Mogera. 30 centimeter toe centimeter series. Mogera from Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Bam. I'm going standard. The Rick is a light up. Oh, yay. So I don't need another light up. I actually kind of dig in this figure because I am a big fan of the original Mogera from the Mysterians. Very fitting for the UNGCC version. And I'm not the biggest fan of Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. People that are fans of it, sue me. Don't care. But it's a cool figure. I think the only other ones I have is the Bandai versions. So this comes out also, guess what, people? The end of this month, right? Right. Standard's probably around $160, the average 30 centimeter price. The Rick probably up there around $220, give or take. That's this average Rick 30 centimeter price. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be cool. And that's all I really have to say about that. Who's picking it up?
I'm picking up the standard version myself. I skipped the light up too. I didn't think it was really necessary.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I was saying before about light ups. It's like it's just played out. And I mean, you know, people have called me an X Plus fanboy or Mark or whatever. Yeah, I get it. You know, I love X Plus, but I'm even I could comfortably say that sometimes it just bores the heck out of me with the light ups. You know, it's like, come on, put your creative thinking hat on, G, because I'm going to come out there and smack you around. But no, not really. I'm only kidding. I mean, but honestly, think about the Rick features. They could have had the mole version and the Flying Falcon thing. That would have been cool. 2 little mini extras instead of light up eyes.
That's true.
Is there? I don't even remember if there's anything else that lights up on that figure. Does it have the? Actually, the Rick also comes with the mazer thing from his chest that you could, I think, exchange out for the piece that's there. I thought that was really cool, but it wasn't enough for me to warrant to get the Rick. But you know, I'm cool with that. So standard for me, standard for Jeremy. David, you get one?
No, you know what? I'm not like you. I'm not a huge fan of the film, and I'm really not heavy on the Heiseis in my collection. So I actually always like the interesting design of Mogera, sort of like a metallic robot space samurai. You know, I like the look, but definitely not. I don't have room for it in my collection. I can just admire it from from afar and all the photos that you guys have. So pass for me.
Cool. All right, fair enough. John.
I'm not getting it. If it's Heisei and it's not one of my favorite Godzilla designs from that era or Violente, it's a pass for me.
Yep, and you've always said that you're very big on a show. You're very big on Showa solely. So
Showa, Millennium stuff, but I actually think it's really cool what David said. I never thought about him being like a space samurai. That's pretty cool. But
yeah,
nope,
I regret not getting. I can see John's right there. The X Plus original Showa.
25
I still wouldn't mind adding that to my collection at some point because that's just so badass.
It's a perfect figure.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really hard to find. Rich, do you even have it?
Yeah, I don't know where it is on my shelves right now. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I actually regret passing on, and it does not show its face very often for sale. So anyway, yeah.
You know what's bad is when you don't know where certain figures are on your shelves. That's a hashtag. You have too much shit.
Yeah.
Side note, because I am watching the video on my phone as it's playing, so I'm glad that you guys are popping up, in between me talking with the pictures on the screen. But John, I want to come out to your house and I want to do like a fresh vinyl cribs in your new office because
we definitely need
it looks awesome, man.
Thanks, dude.
I love what you did with it.
Thank you, man.
Very classy. Very John. You need more chest hair though.
Oh,
it looks
great. Sorry, you can't see that.
It looks great, and I don't want to necessarily do an interview. I just want to have a glass of scotch in that chair and sit next to you. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
I got a whole bar waiting for you.
I see it.
Nice. All right, Steve, are you going for Mogera?
I didn't, and I'll tell you why. And don't throw stuff at me at your screen. So, I also collect and love, for its own reasons, the Monster Arts line. And before you knock it, if you haven't fondled one, the Monster Arts Mogera is the pinnacle of that line. Nothing pops off, lots of die cast, superposable, extra hands. The Mazer pops in and out, converts into flight mode, comes with missiles and missile trails and a little like city diorama. It really was the highlight of that line, and it's so perfect, and I really kind of only need one Mogera, so I passed.
You know what? I do agree with you. Unfortunately, I did sell that figure when I did my SH Monster Arts purge. I really just kept the ones that I really loved out of the line. But that figure was great. It had a lot of accessories to go with it.
You never hear about one breaking.
Yep.
It really, it's. Yeah, I'm not a Mogera. I'm like John. I'm 99% Showa, 1% Heisei. That's kind of just the era David and I grew up in. David probably feels a lot of the same way. I do love Violante in those, but yeah, I've never, and I do like, again, don't throw stuff at me. I do like this new design better than the classic Mogera. But yeah, if you've ever played with the Monster Arts toy, it's not like people, they have their complaints, and they're not all invalid. Some of them are very valid complaints, but that particular figure has none of those issues. It's just well painted, well put together. It's basically a really posable action figure with some metal content. And back when they used to come with a ton of accessories, it's a perfect toy.
Yep, I actually think that all of the mechas, as far as I know, in the SH Monster Arts line, are very well done. I've
got some gripes with the new Showa Mecha Godzilla.
Oh yeah, I skipped that one.
Yeah, I got a few issues, not as many issues as others had. I guarantee you they're going to reissue that toy with a better paint job and some accessories, and they'll make that figure what it should have been.
Yeah,
but you're right. The mechas are all pretty solid.
Yeah, I think
so. I have a question. Did they ever do SH Monster Arts a Showa Mogera too, or no?
No. The only Showa one, I think there's like a Revoltech one.
Oh right, that's the Revoltech one. Gotcha.
All right, Let's move on. Unfortunately, we don't have any SH Monster Art section on this because we just don't. Maybe we'll touch base on them at G-Fest or something. Oh, all right. Here we go. The DefoReal Godzilla 2017. I did skip on this. This is one line with X Plus that I'm being picky about. I did not get this one. I skipped actually, I forgot to add it to this. The Train Biter, right? The Train Biter, another DefoReal 54.
Yeah, he just came out here, right? About a month ago or so.
Yeah, I skipped that one because I already have the awesome 30 centimeter Train Biter 54. But as far as the DefoReal series goes, I'm only going to get the ones that I really dig. I did pick up all the Shin Godzillas because I just think they're adorable. And I'll touch base on the other one that's coming out. But this figure just came out. It was probably around like $50, $60, give or take. I didn't really see many pictures in the X Plus group of this one, but it's just getting released, I think, right? Is anybody here getting it? David, you?
No. It's cool, but no.
Yeah, John?
I like it. If I see one at G-Fest, I'm gonna grab one. But I haven't.
Cool. So nobody here. Steve, you didn't get one?
I don't do SD figures. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. All right. Well, on that note, moving on.
I got the Rick version of that one actually.
Oh, nice.
All right. Now the 84. Yes, and yes. This is awesome. This is Amazeballs. Hashtag Amazeballs. The Rick comes with the nuclear reactor spewing out radiation for Godzilla's lunch. The standard just comes with Godzilla, no reactor. The reactor on the Rick, it's fixed to the figure, so you will not be able to pull it off.
That was my question. I'm glad you answered that.
Yeah, from everything that I've read on, basically from the translation on the Rick site, it states that it's fixed to the figure, the reactor, so you will not be able to take it off. But other than that this comes out in September or October. It's coming out the fall. So I don't know why it's kind of a long window for them to announce something and, to have it be announced now and not come out for 4 months, give or take. But it's coming out in the fall. It's going to be probably, again, around average $50, $60, give or take. I think it's awesome. It looks great. Either without the reactor, it looks great. His eyes just look pissed off. David, I think you'll agree with me on this. I love those fangs. I'm a big fang guy, especially with the 64.
Closed mouth fangs, man. That's the way to go.
Yeah. So I think this figure looks great, and it's not overly super deformed, as say the Shin Godzillas or whatever else. The 54, the anime. It's almost realistic, but it's got it's obviously that SD style. I think it's great. Can't wait to get it. David, you got one?
You know what? I haven't picked one up yet, but I think I'm going to get the standard now because as cool as the reactor is, I think it sort of distracts from the figure a little bit. That's just my opinion. And I love it. Actually, Keith pointed it out. He saw it on Instagram. He's like, are you getting that one? That one's really cool. So definitely getting it. and I would love to see that face on a standard size figure. Wouldn't you guys? Like, just take that head, which is pretty realistic, as you said, and put that on like a standard size body that's not super deformed, because I love that face. Love that face.
Yeah, David, I remember years ago when X Plus had a modded 84 on their display shelves with a closed mouth 30 centimeter 84, and I thought it looked great. So yeah, I would love to see a closed mouth 84 just because it just makes him just look more pissed off. It always helps.
Totally.
John, are you getting this?
I haven't picked one up yet, but that's another one that I plan on getting closer.
Nice.
I just need to make up my mind because I really like the Rick.
Yeah.
I have all the Shins in this line. I don't have any of the other ones, but this is easily one of the best Heisei designs, and this is a really well sculpted figure. So I definitely think it's one worth picking up, especially for like $50. When does that happen in our fandom? Like, yeah, it's not $200, so it's almost an automatic yes.
Yep.
And by the way, you can still get them. They're still available on Hobby Search and some other places too. Yeah. So you can, like John and I, we can still pick one up at some point. So
yeah, I have a feeling that with this being announced so early, before release, that it's probably going to be available for a while. So like you said, you can get it on Hobby Search, Ami, probably Hobby Link Japan. just the standard version. So those are available for pre-order right now. Bam. Jeremy, you getting one?
Actually, I ordered 2 of the Rick ones. I'm really hoping that I really wish that the reactor though was magnetic. That would have been nice if you could pull it off magnetically.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
I
that.
agree. I agree.
But I bought one for my son for later on when he gets a little bit bigger.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, that way you could tell him, like, don't touch my toys, like you got your own.
No, look how cute he is. Don't be mean to him.
I'm an ass. Hashtag I'm an ass. Steve, are you getting one?
No.
No super deformed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. Well,
You know, I'll make you. I'll make myself a liar here. I have all of the little candy toys, the little blind box guys, little vinyl ones. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
The Sosugeki, Sofubi, I think they're called. I do really like those, but yeah, I'm getting to the saturation point like David. I'm embarrassed to tell you, I've passed the 20,000 mark on toys on display in the house. If I haven't said it before, my wife is an extremely tolerant woman, so something's got to give, and that's where I draw the line.
Well, the good news is with this one, his footprint's pretty small, so you could stick him in somewhere.
True.
You know,
True.
And
I've started sneaking some of the real premium pieces into the master bedroom, and so a couple have actually stayed. So I'm not sure if the wife hasn't noticed, but yeah.
Well, hopefully she's not watching.
No, she's playing in a poker tournament right now. She's the World Series of Poker, actually.
Oh, cool.
All right, let's move on. What's next? Because I don't even remember what I added to this. Oh yeah, that guy. Favorite sculptors line, 30 centimeter Godzilla 62.
Oh man, I can't wait for that.
This is coming. Yeah, this is coming out, I believe, the end of July. I was debating, do I need another 62? And then knowing that I am picking up one of the Kongs that Steve's working on, the Beto Metalia Kong. So I was like, well, I'm a nut. I love X Plus, might as well. So I'm going standard for this. The standard, I think, is also around $160, give or take, off Hobby Search. That's where I ordered mine. The Rick comes with the King Kong versus Godzilla nameplate. Kind of cool, but I didn't think it warranted a Rick purchase for that. I don't even think it's a light up. Which
It is.
It is a light up.
I think I'm pretty sure it is, right? No, it's.
Yeah, it's not just the nameplate.
Oh, I thought the dorsal plates were a little bit different. They were clear.
Yeah, no, it's not just the nameplate.
So it does light up.
I think so.
I should have
I'm
checked.
looking for it now, but yeah, I think
looking back to when I ordered it, I'm pretty sure it did light up.
I think so too.
Yep.
Cool. Well, there you go. All right. So I completely forgot because I know I'm going standard, but it comes with a nameplate, which is kind of cool, and we think it lights up. I should have checked. I'm sorry, people. I am not perfect. If you didn't know that.
I'm pretty certain it lights up. Yeah.
For the model guys, I am not familiar with the original sculpt of this from the model kit. Who made it?
Oh, initially it was produced by a company called Atragon GK. Okay. And it's a small company that didn't make a very large run. Maybe like 100, Steve, 50 to 100, I'm thinking.
It is a really small run because I've been chasing one for years, so no one's happier about this release than I am. Although, if I found a good deal on the resin, I wouldn't turn it down.
And I actually have the resin. I got it years and years ago. And Rich, you saw it at my house, and you're like, this is the best Godzilla. So your trepidation for getting it confuses me because you loved it when you saw it. Maybe you just forgot.
Yeah, I don't remember.
In my opinion, it is the best version, representation of the 62 suit that I've ever seen. The resin version, that is. The vinyl version will be a little bit smaller because the vinyl will shrink, but hopefully the detail will still be there. Like I actually, you would think that I wouldn't want it because I do have the resin kit, but I love to photograph that figure, and it's so, I'm afraid I'm going to break it because the tail is really long. So I had to go with the stand. No, actually, you know what? I didn't. I got the Rick because it looks different than the model kit because I'm going to photograph the hell out of it and not worry about it breaking if I, knock the tail into a rock or something. So anyone who's on the fence about this figure, they may or may not be still available. pick it up. It is by far the most accurate representation of the suit, and it looks good from almost every angle. So I can't say enough good things about it. And this figure just came out of nowhere. I mean, none of us knew it was coming. It's like, whoa, what's up with that? And the kit that I have actually did come with the nameplate, the same one that's coming with this, that I haven't actually ever posted because I never painted it. But seriously, get this one. You won't regret it. It is like the quintessential 1962 King Goji suit kit. Bam.
Bam. Awesome. Yeah, I was on the fence about it, but I am glad I am getting it. It's much better looking than the ugly ass 25 centimeter version that came out from X Plus in 2012.
That was a tragedy, that thing.
Yeah. And I'm gonna have to compare them. I don't want to say. I mean, I think that's safe to say that this one looks better than the 30 centimeter X Plus that came out some time ago as well. So it does look beautiful. The only thing that I was on the fence about was like, do I need another 62? You know, because like you guys, and this is a good topic we will save for G-Fest. But like you guys have said, I am crunched on room on these shelves at the moment we are speaking because I don't have a finished basement yet. But we'll touch base on that at G-Fest. So I'm getting one standard. David, you're getting the Rick. John, what about you?
Rick in it, man. That nameplate is sweet. 62 is my favorite suit, so
perfect.
All about it. Sorry, excuse me. I'm having a box day right now.
Hot Toys.
This is. I just got Hot Toys, A New Hope, Han Solo, Luke, and Leia back. I bought them back because I missed them. So here they are.
Nice.
Oh, I got confused when I saw you post those. I'm like, did you just get doubles of them or what? I didn't know that you sold them.
Yeah, but that's a topic for another day.
Yes, it is. But what you've sold and regret and you bought back, that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole fresh vinyl live right there.
We've all been there before. We've all been there.
So many times.
So many times.
Don't do it, children.
Don't. All right, Jeremy, are you picking up the 62?
Yes, sir. And actually, I'm going to do the Rick.
Awesome. Guys are making me feel bad. Wait, David, you went Rick too?
Yes, sir.
Wow, I'm the only buffoon here that went standard. Holy shit.
Well, the only reason I said is because I have
Not the only one.
And I want to distinguish it from the kit. I want it to be a little bit different. You see what I'm saying? So I can justify it just a little bit. I normally would have gone standard, but the light up plates and the little differences are going to distinguish it from the model kit. So that's the only reason I chose Rick this time.
True. David, any of you guys that are going Rick, I'll task you if you could take some nice photos of it when it gets out, and then I can use it in my review. If you guys would like to.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, Steve, you're going standard, you said.
I am going standard. You know the 62 is my thing. I'm sure you can see behind me and guess that. I had been talking with David about this kit for a long time and had been chasing one. There's like one on eBay for $900 and change. I was thinking about making an offer to the guy. X Plus's solicit obviously put that to bed. Yeah. And again, if I found the kit because I'm a kit guy, I would still do it. And it's funny. I'm gonna be the jerk here. I actually, as much as I love that sculpt and I can't wait to get my hands on it, it's still not the quintessential 62 for me. David, you and I can debate this. I'd love to hear your opinion. I actually think the Dymos 30 centimeter is the quintessential sculpt. The one with the arms out to the side.
It's close. It's very close.
They're 1A and 1B. Like they're right there. And I'm also really, really partial to the Asai 50 centimeter.
Yep.
It's actually rich sized.
Dang, that thing is crazy looking.
Wait, let me see that.
And it's 22 pounds.
Holy moly.
With glass eyes.
Oh, that's the NATO base pose, right?
Yes.
Oh man, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it's as big as me.
I'm really partial, and you can see behind me. I love some of the Paradise ones. I mean, but the Atragon is amazing. I mean, I'm not going to talk it down. I've been lusting after one for a while. There we go.
When you guys see it in person, you're going to be like, man, this is. You may even if you want to go with one of each suit, your other figure is probably not going to be, last too long because you're going to take one look at this. Unless the translation to vinyl doesn't do like what I hope it will. It looks like it will because the detail is so crisp on the model kit that it can't help but translate well to vinyl. You know what I'm saying? So
I just hope with all the stuff they've got coming out that they don't rush it.
Yeah, yeah,
it's an issue.
True.
And I gotta be honest, it's even though it's not as sharp as the prototype, the X Plus Gigantic 62 is still brilliant for me.
I love that one too. That's got a special place in my heart.
That and the if we're really talking, you know, pie in the sky, the Sakai 1 meter tall 62, which has never been for sale.
That one's, you know,
you can't touch it.
No.
Yeah, that's it. That's the suit.
Yep.
But yeah, I cannot be more excited for the Atragon re-release from X Plus. I mean, I ordered day one.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, let's move on. We got, the 30 centimeter Yuji Sakai Shin Godzilla. This was also teased back in the fall at one of those toy shows. This figure is due to come out the end of August, I believe. Price-wise, it's probably, I think the standard is actually, both the standard and the Rick are priced the same. But if you're going to buy the standard from like Hobby Search, they do offer, you know, a form of a discount. Yeah, but you're looking at around, I think, $215.
$215.
Yeah, $215 for the standard. The Rick will run you around probably $250, give or take. I forget.
I think it's like $265.
$265, yeah. I'm going standard on this. The Rick, I just don't. I'm not really feeling the Rick. The Rick feature, basically, the red areas on the figure they're made to look like he's radiating energy. It's not a light up, but the red is more pronounced on the Rick version. And I guess there's some kind of like silver paint on the inside of the figure that's supposed to help emphasize that look. But from the pictures that X Plus posted with the standard and the Rick side by side, I just didn't think it warranted a Rick release. I might end up regretting that decision when it comes out. But I'm comfortable going with the standard either way because it does look beautiful. It's going to be a big-ass 30 centimeter figure. I don't know the specs. I think it actually clocks in around 32 centimeters according to the Rick page. I should check, but it's going to be great. That tail is going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to be a shelf hog. If anything, it's good that the tail is just swooped up rather than kind of kicking to the left or the right. So it shouldn't be that bad on your shelf, but we won't know until we get it in the end of this, closing month of the summer. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm down for that. This will be, I think this is going to be my last Shin Godzilla figure. I am at this point shinned out. I love the movie, but I don't think I will pick up any more Shin figures after this. And that will close that book on the collectible front on Shin Godzilla. And David, what are you getting?
I haven't, bit the bullet with this one just yet. I'm still debating. I was having trouble deciding or figuring out what the difference between the Rick and the standard were. You explained it pretty well. I wasn't sure because it looked pretty similar to me. I don't know. The more I look at it, the more I like it. It's really, really, really well done. It's a shelf hog, but again, I love the gigantic Shin Godzilla. I think that's such a great figure. And again, I don't know. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, so I'm still on the fence. But I don't know. It looks fantastic. And if you don't have a Shin figure, absolutely, grab it. I have of course, the gigantic, and I also have the frozen Ban Presto, which is a really great figure too. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, so I'm not sure. Jury's out.
Hey, David?
Yeah.
If it helps, my solicit says that this version is clear red vinyl. It's painted over clear red vinyl so that the bright red is brighter, more bright color look, but not light up. So
okay, thank you.
I think Rich is right. I think there's probably like a shine. It's clear red with probably like a silver paint underneath to make it pop.
Yeah, and Liam Foley is just informed us on the chat. Actually, I should have thought about this, but the figure is supposedly clocking in around 28 centimeters because it was a resin kit. Yep. So, David, like you stated earlier, there'll be that vinyl the vinyl transfer from resin, we will lose some height and whatnot. So even still.
Oh, sorry, buddy. I thought you were done. I talked to Stanowski about it too, John Stanowski of Flossies and Kaiju Addicts, and he said that there's only like 2 centimeters difference between the 25 centimeter and the Sakai. So if you have the 25 centimeter and you're counting on them being quite different on display, they're going to be pretty much the same height.
That's
just
yeah.
That's good info.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. And I do dig the 25 centimeter that came out, but
James,
they have, yeah.
I don't know why. Well, Steve and I talked about this one for a long time because the solicit's super weird because the price on the Rick and this one are equal, and the Rick they did a pretty poor job of explaining it. I think even without a translation.
Agreed.
It feels like it should be a light up, but it's just not. So I don't know. I don't think I can see enough of a difference to pay $50 more because the standard looks amazing too. So
yeah, I couldn't see a difference either. I couldn't really a discernible difference.
I think.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even know that there was a difference in it until the other day because they look so similar.
Exactly.
And I don't know your thoughts, David. For me, and I love Sakai, but I worry at that scale. I have less of concern for the gigantic. But at anywhere from 25 to 30 centimeter, I have concerns about the sharp needle-like resin teeth translating into vinyl and not losing detail.
Really good point, because you guys know the first Sakai 28 centimeter 91 that came out, that was definitely an issue for me. The teeth came out rounded and they weren't sharp, and it really, the face really makes the figure, and it lost a lot of the detail from the resin. And you were absolutely right, because there's so many needle sharp teeth.
That feature is so accentuated on the Shin. It's so much more important that they are these needle-like teeth. Like you said, on the 91, it's noticeable. How bad is it going to be on the Shin?
But they've gotten, in all fairness, they've gotten better over the years. That was how many years ago? Like 3 or 4 years that 91 came out, and they've improved it since. But I agree with you. I'm a little leery about the crispness of those needle sharp, projections all over the face too. So
it might be great. It might be great. I don't know.
It might be great, but who knows? It's definitely good point.
All right. As far as the Shin goes, I'm going standard. David, you said you're still on the fence?
Yes, sir.
John, you're on the fence, or are you going which way you going?
We were trying to decide. James and I were trying to decide if we wanted to do the Rick or the standard. I think I'm just going to do the standard and wait a little bit because I still want the gigantic. And like David said, if you've got the gigantic, there's not nearly as much point in having this one. But I think I don't have an X Plus Shin that's not the DefoReals because I got the Marmot instead of the 25 centimeter because they were both hitting at about the same time. There's only 100 of the Marmot, so I figured that was
yeah, that's a good buy
investment. So I do want this one though, so I'm definitely going to pick it up at some point because I need a Shin.
Cool. Jeremy, what are you getting?
Honestly, I have not decided yet. For whatever reason, this one's not really speaking to me too much. If I do decide to get it, I think I'm probably going to go with the standard.
Cool. Yeah. Actually, I haven't even put an order in yet either, so I guess I'm still debating. But I'm pretty certain I'm probably going to go standard as well.
It's pretty new. They just announced it last week, right?
Yeah, literally just Wednesday?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah. Yep.
Steve, which way you going if you're getting this?
I am not. If this is something I feel the need to own, I would buy the original Sakai resin, or I'd go with the Tease Facto resin.
Good answer for a kit builder.
I don't. Yeah, this is the Shin is one where I do have the 2 Monster Arts versions, and they're okay. But yeah, if I go anything larger than that Shin wise, for me, it's got to be a resin kit.
Gotcha.
Fair enough.
For the aforementioned reasons.
All right, let's move on. Oh, okay. Out of nowhere, another out of nowhere announcement from X Plus. It's still not live yet, so I guess we're still in the teasing phase here from X Plus. But if you can't tell what's happening here, this is a Toho 30 centimeter series jet Jaguar. And I'm going to guess the overlay font there says coming soon or something of that nature. So this is awesome because I think I'm more excited for what the possibilities are that could come from this. So it's a 30 centimeter Jet Jaguar. No idea what the Rick is. No idea on the price or the release date yet. So they'll be announcing this formally, officially soon because it's on the site. If I had to guess, being at 30 centimeter, it'll probably be around $150, give or take. Again, not a figure that's loaded, large with vinyl, so it shouldn't be that costly. Again, if it's a Rick light up, I'll probably just go standard. I don't need light up Jet Jaguar eyes, as I already have the 25 centimeter reissued version with light up eyes. And I'm excited to see if we'll get a 30 centimeter 73, 30 centimeter Megalon, and a proper 30 centimeter 1973 Gigan to go with, because I think that would be awesome. There's plenty of opportunities for the kid on his whale floating device thing to be a Rick X Plus. If you're listening, that is what the Rick should be. It should be the little doofus kid on his triple whale concoction. I want one, because if I'm not going to be able to acquire one in real life to sit around in my house on, I will settle for a Rick version of that, because I think that is one of the coolest little things that we can get, just because it's just obscure. Much like Dan Miller has them, those from Godzilla vs. Hedorah, the fish people figures. I don't know if any of you guys have them. You might, but those are really cool pieces. But the 70s are weird. So 30 centimeter Jet Jaguar. David, are you going to get one?
Maybe. I am definitely in the minority when I say that Godzilla vs. Megalon is not one of my favorite films. It's towards the bottom. I know. Hey. It's fun. I like it, but I remember watching it for the first time as a kid. In New York, they ran it prime time. And they like it was like a big thing, like, oh, we're first screening of Godzilla vs. Megalon. And I was expecting a lot more than I got. So it's basically stock footage of stock footage, which is never like really a good thing for me. But I love the little porpoise ride too, Rich, totally. And I think the Rick figure should be maybe Antonio, the leader of Seatopia, with his hairy back and his head.
Oh.
I mean, that would be like a cool thing to have. And maybe a couple of those cool girls like zipping around with the little, things on their head.
They were Megalons on their head, on their crowns.
Yeah.
Oh snap! Were they really? See, I didn't even know that. But I'm actually more, just like Rich said, I'm more excited about the potential future releases that this portends, because we may get a Megalon, like a 30 centimeter Megalon would be sweet. Even though I don't love the movie, I love the design of Megalon. And we don't have a 73 Godzilla. Oh yeah, we do. Sorry, we do have a 73 Godzilla, but a 30 centimeter one would be fun. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, maybe, I know I'm in the minority, but I'm not like, see, it's not even in the realm of the Frankenstein being released for me. But I'm happy for all the rest of you who are totally stoked.
Bam. John, what about you? Showa, you got to be getting this, right?
Man, the pose in that photo, I doubt that's the actual figure, but it's the exact same as the 25 centimeter. If it's just the same thing, but an inch bigger, it's going to be a pass for me.
You're right. You are right.
The pose is different. Like if he's not closed fists, like fists clenched and just standing there staring at you, then I'll totally get it. But the pose is going to have to be good, because that photo right there is the exact same as the 25 centimeter. So maybe they just photographed the 25 because it's not ready yet. So I don't know. I'm waiting on the pose. If it's a pose, I love me some JJ if it's a new pose. So
love it.
If he's a pose.
Very true. Jeremy, what about you?
Actually, I agree with John 100% on that. If it's not a different pose or it doesn't have some sort of different articulation to it, then I think it'll be a pass for me.
Yeah. Now, again, I had just looked over to my 25 centimeter version, and his arms are identical to that clenched fist and whatnot. So hopefully it's not identical. That would be like really overkill if to have a 30 centimeter version identical to 25, because that just takes the originality right out the door.
Like the exact same.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much potential and to make it so much better than just their same pose. So hopefully they've done something different.
Why not? Oh, here's something I always touch base on, every so often when we're talking about figures, especially figure or kaiju that fly. How about like if they made him a flying version, like that would be kind of cool. I think maybe even if it was like a Rick specific, but I think flying kaiju, other than Mothra, are really the only ones that fly as far as what's on our shelves. So again, there's multiple possibilities that X Plus can do other than what's been done with the 25 centimeter version. So, Steve, what about you? You gonna get one?
Absolutely. I love Jet Jaguar, and I'm old enough where I saw Godzilla versus Megalon in the theater. I will buy him 30 centimeter. I will buy him 1 meter. I will buy a gigantic one.
Life size?
I would. I really big Jet Jaguar fan. We don't have enough of him. I believe that's a placeholder pick. And if it were up, if I had to put my money down on like a Rick exclusive with what they're doing now, I would think they would do swap out arms to change the pose. And if you give me one where it's like holding back, Megalon, for Godzilla to drop kick him or something like that, sign me up.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
If you look at their X Plus's history, I can't think of a time, and you guys are the experts, so if I'm wrong, please tell me, but I can't see them just scaling it up. And I thought the same thing, that pose was really, really vanilla and very much like the 60 or the 25 centimeters. So yeah, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be different. I don't think that's what we're looking at right there.
No, I'm going to pull up my 25 right now. Just
if it is, and depending on it, I will still buy it because I'm just a Jet Jaguar mark.
Well, what if there's a button on his back and you punch it and he goes punch, punch, punch? Then it's like.
Then I buy 2 of them.
Yeah.
or if the theme song comes out, then I would definitely buy it too.
Don't you tease me, Dopko.
I'm sorry. Or how about this? How about the pose when he's doing this and he gets getting bigger? Do it in 3 scale.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely ordering.
So I'm looking at my 25 right now in my hands, and I'm comparing it to the image that I have on the screen. Again, if you can't see it very well on the stream, look it up, on the Rick site. But from looking at the figure to what's on the picture, the elbow, the inner elbow that you could see is more. You can see more of that blue underneath of the robot, whatever we're going to call it. Basically, the suit. On the figure, his elbow is buttered up with the metallic frills from forearm to his shoulder area. So I am almost in belief that what's on that image is actually the figure.
It's not the 25 centimeter.
No, it's not. It's definitely not.
The head the head's definitely bigger. It looks
the head's bigger. It's pronounced differently at the tip of the head, so it's definitely not the 25 centimeter. Maybe it's a picture from the movie, or no, it's not. I don't remember seeing anything like this from the movie.
I definitely think we're going to get like some swap out arms or something. I don't think that's just going to be it.
Let's hope so.
Time will tell. They're getting if you're listening, you get my money either way.
Yeah, I'm a sucker like that too. Yep. So, all right, moving on. Let's see where we at. I don't even know what I got next. All right, Ultraman stuff. Ultraman. I have this on the screen. From what I can see, we have a Real Master Collections plus Ultra 7. I guess that's what Ultraman Jack down there on the other side. Version 2. I'm not familiar with that.
Return of Ultra. That's the suit from Return of Ultraman, but it looks a bit stylized as far as I can see, and it looks like it's painted to look like it's an evening scene.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I think I don't know if that's just like the lighting in the photograph, but I know there's been some other figures released by other companies where they actually make it look like it's the night scene, the evening scene where the sun's reflecting on him. So it's kind of a cool figure. But it's definitely Ultraman Jack, a.k.a. Return of Ultraman.
Gotcha. Okay. And then up on the left side, we have Ultra New Generation. I am not familiar with those guys at all. Maybe Mebius, Tiga. I don't know. I don't know who they are. Ultra family.
Maybe Tiga and that monster on the bottom. I have no idea.
Any Steve, John, or Jeremy, you guys know anything about these other Ultra guys?
The three look like the Tiga set.
Yeah, I would say that's Tiga. But that monster at the bottom, we need to ask, like, Vince Elliott, to see if he could help us out, because I have no idea what that is. It might be from Leo or Taro or something like that.
Okay.
The one on the bottom there with the horn.
Yeah, what is that from?
It's from Ultraman Taro. It's
Taro,
forgive me for butchering this. It's Same Kujira.
Okay.
Cool name.
He's about $145.
Well, Kujira means whale.
Whale.
So it may be like some whale monster thing, something.
I just read the news.
Very cool. All right, so yeah, there's some Ultraman stuff. I felt like we needed to just announce what else is coming. It's not always all just Godzilla stuff. Isn't there another Gamera figure coming out? Isn't they doing a reissue of Gamera or something?
There was one with a light feature on it that was the Polystone. It was a Polystone figure from the Heisei Gamera.
Wasn't that from a different company though?
It was X Plus we're talking about, right? Yeah.
I think so. I don't remember.
I know they released a Gamera recently, a large-scale Gamera from a different company. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the Prime One Studios one that Sideshow's carrying.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
And there's like 2 vinyl versions and a Polystone one. They start out expensive and get more expensive.
This guy right here.
Okay.
That's
Gamera. That's the first Heisei Gamera. So
95.
Yeah. It's a Polystone one that they released.
Cool.
Nice.
Rich, didn't they just release a 30 centimeter Gauss too?
No. There's been no announcement as far as any of Gamera's foes from X Plus.
No, I think it already came out, and I think we just missed.
Maybe the Showa version we're talking, right?
Yeah, the Showa version. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I you know what? I think that figure was like announced so long ago, and it finally came out. I think Leslie Chambers reviewed it or had a discussion about that. I'm not sure. I was on his channel watching video a few days ago, and I think I saw it. So if anybody watching, check out Leslie Chambers. I know he does some nice discussions and whatnot, and he does go with those Showa Gamera figures. So I'm not really too up to speed on that stuff. So options there. And somebody in the comments section did mention that, yes, there is an SH Monster Arts Gamera 99 coming out. So there's that front on the Gamera figures. I'm hoping we do get either a 95 Gauss and an Iris, however you pronounce it, just so I can wrap up the Heisei Gamera figures here, because I have all the Gameras and Legion. So I think that would be cool to finish that up. I'm sure X Plus will do it eventually. On that note, this wraps up our figure discussion here with all the new X Plus stuff. If everybody's been watching since this broadcast started, there is a lot of figures coming out, a lot, and it's just ridiculous, honestly. I'll save my opinions for G-Fest, because this is a good topic, because it's just kind of ridiculous. I don't know what X Plus is. I don't know what they think, that the Americans over there, they'll just keep buying them. They keep buying them, they just keep making them. But we'll touch on that at G-Fest. We'll save that. So moving on. Speaking of G-Fest, I'm going to bounce over a couple slides here to, because I know he's watching, Mr. Mike Chakowski of Vampire Robots. I'm going to give him a little plug here. He is doing a giveaway at G-Fest for an X Plus 30 centimeter Godzilla 2000 or 99, whichever you want to call it, version 2. He's doing a giveaway for that. Basically, what you'll need to do is go spend a minimum of $100 at his table at G-Fest on Friday or Saturday. And if you spend $100 or more, you will get a raffle ticket, and there will be a drawing Saturday at 5 p.m. in the dealer's room. If you have to be present. If you're not present, he will call another ticket until he has a winner. So that is what's happening with Vampire Robots. You're going to get a free, you spend $100, you get a free X Plus figure. Literally. So if you spent $100 and you win the figure, you basically, you get half off of whatever else you spent, because this figure, it's about $100 maybe about $100, $120, depending on where you buy it from. I actually have one sitting on my floor in front of me right now that's still in the box. It's not even mine. It's my buddy Brendan, who's sitting here with me. He's been very, very quiet. He's just making approval faces or disapproval faces, but we'll reintroduce him when we're done here. So that's Vampire Robot. Spend $100, get a raffle ticket for your chance to win an X Plus 30 centimeter version 2 of Godzilla 99. Bam. Okay. Cool. Good. Is that good, Mike? Good, because that's all you're getting. Goodbye. All right. Let's talk about the guests of honor at G-Fest returning for, I'm not even sure how many G-Fest this is. Let's see, lasting impressions, G-Fans at 2010, 2012, 2016. So that's at least 3 G-Fests under his belt. Akira Takarada will be returning. Guest of honor, Megumi Odaka, her first time coming back to G-Fest since 2000. She did appear at Chiller in the spring of 2017. I've had the pleasure of meeting her and her husband. Her husband's awesome. He is the enforcer there, so people be careful because he will lay you to waste if you act up, because that's his wife. Remember that, people. But yeah, great meeting her. Had her autograph on a rose, a fake rose, which is pretty cool. It's up there with my X Plus Biolante. So it'd be great to have her back. She's, I'm pretty sure she's excited to be there, so that would be cool. And next up would be Master Prop Monster Suit Builder. I can't, if I pronounce this wrong, forgive, and I'm sorry, Kaizo Moras, or Moraes. Does anybody know how to pronounce that?
It's Murase.
There you go. There you go, David. Thank you. You bilingual, fantastic son of a bitch. So that's going to be cool. I think the last suit maker we had was Shinichi Wakasa a couple years ago in 2013. Because I remember that was my first G-Fest. So I don't know. I can't remember if there was any other suit makers in between. So that'll be cool. This Murase-san, he was present for the building of, if it's right there in the description, Varan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Baragon, Titanosaurus, and many others. He was actually at a convention. Was it Monsterpalooza last year?
Yes, Steve. No, actually the year before. Steve and I saw him at Monsterpalooza in 2016, was it? 17, 15? 15
like a year or two ago.
16.
He's,
had a Tunkavarian's hide on the table with him.
Cool. No, he's a super, his English isn't that great, but he's a super nice guy and very excited to be with the fans. And he did a little panel Q&A with Nakajima, one of Nakajima's last panels that I've seen on stage at Monsterpalooza. So, and he's got a really great photo book that I picked up at Monsterpalooza that has him as a young man, in the process of creating these iconic suits. So it's basically all pictures, and I'm sure they'll be available to buy in the dealer's room or at his table. So definitely check that book out if you want to see some really awesome vintage, never before behind the scenes photos of these monsters and their creation. So I'm kind of stoked that he's going.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of good stories to hear from that. So very cool. Anybody want to add anything about the guests before we move on?
I'm just stoked to meet Ms. Odaka-san. That's going to be fun. I've not met her before, and from what you guys have said, she's just a really wonderful woman. And we all love watching her in pretty much every one of the Heisei films. And I know Kyle Younts from Kaiju Cast is really stoked because he's going to be doing an interview with her. And I'm really looking forward to hearing that interview when it's translated. And it's always nice to see, get an opportunity to meet these actors who we love watching on the big screen because, sad to say, a lot of them aren't with us anymore, and more are passing away each year. So I really strongly urge people to come and say hi and get a photo taken or get an autographed picture because, to me, the memories are worth more than anything because for me, and also for me, the toys stem from the movies and they are part of the movies. They created the movies. So extra special to meet the guests as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome. I do want to add about Megumi Odaka. This is a funny little story. When I met her at Chiller, having that been my first time meeting her, I figured it would be cool if I, because she was on break. When she came back to the table, she came back from break, and I was like, oh, I'll pretend like I'm sensing Godzilla. How she gestured with her hand up to her temple on her head, and when I did that, she kind of looked like, oh my god, what's wrong with him? Like what's wrong? And I felt so stupid because I thought she would get it, but she didn't, and that's okay. But I felt really silly. But it's something that I'm never going to forget now because it was awesome anyways.
Did she call 911?
No. But the funny thing is, I was okay. Godzilla did not show up, so my senses were wrong. But she is very quaint. She's delicate. I would say she's even a little bit hesitant. But she was very thrilled to see so many fans. I remember from Chiller, she had said through her husband and Shigeko and anybody that was helping translate that she was surprised to see so many fans come out to see her because she didn't think that nobody would care, after so long. But because she does keep a very, very low profile in Japan, she's not putting herself out there in the spotlight or anything. I think she's doing some stage acting and some just low profile stuff. I'm not exactly overly familiar exactly what she's doing, but she's very, very quaint, very delicate, and I think she's in for a treat at G-Fest. It might be a little shell shocking for her, so anybody that's watching or watches the replay, just be gentle with her because it's going to be a big cultural shock for her coming back to G-Fest, after 18 years of not being here, and the hobby has grown. It's a different world for us today that it was for her back in 2000. So, I could think it's safe to say that she's excited, but I also think it's safe to say that she's going to be a little hesitant, because there's going to be so many people. She's going to be busy with autograph sessions and whatnot. So just be patient, be mindful, and just, let's show her that we are a good group of fans and we're happy to see her. We appreciate her coming out. G-Fest. So, and I'll wrap that up on that bit.
In other words, keep it classy, guys. And
yeah,
girls.
That's right. Keep it classy. Don't be idiots because we know they're out there. And those idiots that are out there, just stop it. Stop it. Anyway, moving on. All right, so we covered that. Vampire Robots giveaway, $100. Spend the table, get a raffle ticket, get a free X Plus figure. Bam. Other visitors, other dealers, because we're talking toys, make sure you check out Exian Toys. Make sure you check out Radioactive Toys, Showcase Daikaiju. Also, that's where Mike Johnson and I will be set up with Nev and the Homs. Hi, Nev. And I believe Rich Cox will be there this year as well, a.k.a. ClubTokyo.org. Claw Mark Toys will be back. Chibi Goji Toys. And M1 will be back in the house. For those that were there last year, M1 brought a lot of good stuff, so I'm sure they will not disappoint this year. And, if I missed any other dealers out there, I'm sorry. My brain is not thinking of everything. And what's next? Oh, that's it. I guess I'll put my ugly bug back on the screen now. Let's see. Stop the screen share. And there I am. Hi, everybody. Phil. Shut up. All right. So, Brendan, come here. So, what did you think of everything that we talked about? Brendan. Hey, Brendan was happy. Happy, Brendan. Very happy. Brendan, was there anything that you were picking up? No? Oh, I don't remember. He's basically telling me, you should know what I'm picking up, or he's not picking up anything. Brendan, unfortunately, couldn't be here today because he's down in Georgia doing some work. So he gave me this picture of him that disapproves or approves Brendan. So that's what this is here for. Sorry, I know it's kind of quirky, but I think he's out to dinner with his wife right now. Oh, there he is. He just commented in the the section. Lame. Anyway, he's lame because he gave me this laminated picture of his face. Anyway, so I'm just gonna sit here and hold him and Phil like an idiot. You know what the hell, Phil. That really, we went through all of our topics. Brendan, wait, what? What's the matter? Oh, I forgot something. Oh, yeah. Brendan says that he's bringing his kid. Oh wait, isn't Ultraman going to be there at G-Fest?
I don't think this show. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I thought Brendan said he was going to be. See, Brendan's like, now if he's not going to be, he's going to be pissed off because his kid Noah is a big Ultraman fan. You know, big Ultraman fan. So if he's not going to be there, then I don't know. I didn't see him on the guest on the
no, I don't think so, Rich. I don't think this year. No.
Oh well. So Brendan's not happy about that. Anyway, Steve, do you have anything you would like to talk about?
Yes, I will not be at G-Fest again this year because it just happened. So yes, I know. I promise I will make it out to Chicago one of these days. I go every year to San Diego Comic-Con, so it's so close together. It's a real hardship for me to do both. But a bunch of stuff I'm working on will be there. So as we talked about last time, there will be a metallic blue 62 30-centimeter vinyl done in retro style, bagged with a header card. They are arriving this week for me to paint. They're all custom done. There are 5 only. They will be at the Tempting Toys booth. I believe it's being handled by, like they give out a raffle ticket and the 5 picked get to purchase. But what I will, and we talked about that last time, what I will talk about today is there will also be 5 metallic candy apple red of the 67 30-centimeter vinyl, also bagged with a header card, also limited to 5 pieces only.
Cool.
So yeah, fun stuff for those of you who love the big retro stuff. That'll be there. They will be baby approves. I'll sign them all. They'll all be signed and numbered. Also, I thought I'd show you all today for you G-Fest fans. So this is my work in progress, very early, but this is the mascot G-Fantas figure, which is licensed and coming at G-Fest. I don't believe the painted one, and obviously this is just the base color. He's got a ways to go this weekend. He'll be on display. This is the actual vinyl figure. This is a real toy. It's undergoing a few modifications, I think, to the mold still, but I do believe, and Tony, don't hurt me if I'm wrong, I think there is an exclusive version available at the show. I'm not involved with that one. I'm doing, if any of you remember the year before last, I believe I had the Paint Master on display there of the resin hard copy.
Yes, it was in the revolving case.
The revolving case. So this is the actual vinyl figure. This is more the final Paint Master that will be going off to the factory. So that will be there as well. I'm a busy guy. That's what I got. So I unfortunately will not be joining you at G-Fest this year, but I will be with you in vinyl spirit.
Cool. Very cool. Jeremy, I'd like to give the mic to you if you would like to talk about your Summit Kaiju photography contest.
Yeah, so for those of you that are thinking about joining the Summit Kaiju photo contest, you have until July 7th to get your photos in. We will be announcing the winners at G-Fest at that time to win the Rick exclusive 1964 Godzilla from X Plus.
Gigantic.
Yep, and that is at 11 o'clock right before Fresh Final Live. So if you're planning on going to Fresh Final Live, you can sit back and relax for 2 hours and watch the 2 shows.
Wow.
And there he is right there.
This would be the figure you would be winning for the Summit Kaiju photography contest.
We'll be playing,
Godzilla 1964.
We'll be playing a video, and we'll have a short discussion beforehand.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right. I want to open it up to a Q&A for a little bit before we get off. John, David, Steve, you guys got anything you want to add or things we want to talk about?
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, not to plug it. There will be 5 more of the 62 in a different color path at San Diego at the Anime Link booth. So
cool.
Yeah, for those like for Dell and James and those, if you're heading down to San Diego after G-Fest, come and see me at the Anime Link booth.
Bam.
Cool.
John, you got anything?
Did you guys talk about the Star Ace X Plus Kong? Did I miss that?
Oh, we completely missed that.
Dude, I'm so excited for that figure.
I haven't even, I got to pre-order one from somewhere.
I've got to order 2.
I'm so excited for that figure. I want the Rick now, though, because I saw the base finalized, and it looks really good.
Yep.
So yeah, they were standard, so I might have to figure that out. But It's like a little, it's a Skull Island base. It's about this big, and it's got like a mountainous region in the back, and it's really well done.
And Kong's holding a helicopter as well.
Yeah, it's cool. But that figure looks marvelous. It should be hitting us this month, should it not?
That was July time, something around that time.
July? Gotcha. Yeah, I'm really excited for that figure. That's all I would add.
Cool, cool, cool. David, I take it. Nope, he doesn't have anything to add.
No, I just wanted to quickly say that the G-Fest 2017 memory book is all finished. It's you can pick it up. Just find me at the Claw Mark Toys table or somewhere in the lobby or whatever. And it came out really good this year. It's got lots of fun photos of all of us in our lovely July favorite time of the year thing. So, yeah, just if you're interested in one of these, come and find me, and we'll make sure you get one.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And joining us, Robert. Finally,
after much technical difficulty.
All right, get your camera set up, and then we're gonna put you on the spot, and yeah, because we already went over almost everything.
Oh, great!
I know, but you know, I'll give you the opportunity. You know, we talked about a lot of the new X Plus stuff coming. I know you're selective about, you know, what you pick. So, out of everything that hasn't been released yet or announced, what are you getting?
Of the stuff like that got announced recently, yes.
Yeah, all right. So let's see. We got the Gargantuas, the Anime Goji, Frankenstein. Well, the Rick with Baragon, 25 centimeter Space Godzilla with or without the Little Godzilla, Mogera. See, I already forget. It's just too much shit.
New Shin Godzilla.
I'll be
Favorite
honest.
Sculptor 62.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't pre-order any of those, to be honest. But if I were to get any of those, I would consider getting the 56 Rodan and then the Space Godzilla. But I didn't pre-order any of those, to be honest, because I don't need any of them per se. But for as far as want maybe the Space Godzilla. But I'll be honest, none of those are like must-haves for me, because you know I want different monsters. You know, I've been waiting for a Dogora for like 6 years now. Still haven't seen it. So yeah, I hate to say it, none of those. I mean, they're all great figures, but well, I would have picked up the Gargantuas if I didn't already have the 30 centimeter ones. I totally would have gotten the 25s, but I already have the 30s, so it was kind of like, okay. So I really didn't need to grab those. Those would have been a for sure buy if I didn't have the 30 centimeters. Even with, I know David had mentioned the paint was not perfect on those, basically.
Yeah, see, you represent a smart collector, unlike myself, who says I have to. Well, I don't say I have to. It's just I choose just to get almost everything.
Well,
almost everything.
It's a combination of money, space, and just actual want. You know, I've always been sort of like, how bad do I really want this? Usually I know right away if I'm going to pick a figure up. You know, like the ones I have picked up and pre-ordered, like I pretty much, as soon as it appeared, I'm like, I totally want that. And then that was that, basically. So it's pretty easy. If I have to think about it, it's probably a no. So
yeah, see, that's the opposite. I think about it, I'm hesitant, and then I'm like, fresh it, I'm getting it. You know, so I'm like, it's ridiculous. It is.
Yes, exactly. I'm the opposite too. I say no, and then I think about it, or I see someone else's. The worst thing that can happen to a collector, especially like me, is if I pass on something and then I actually see it in person at someone's house or at G-Fest or in Japan. I'm like, oh man, what was I thinking? This is the most awesome thing ever. So,
David, that's how you were with the gigantic burning Godzilla. I remember that story.
That's exactly right. And that was a lesson, man. And I got to thank James Hartman for, I think he had two at the time, and he sold me one for what he paid for it, which was pretty awesome because I saw that figure in the Godzilla 60th anniversary display as if it were a piece of the display. And I'm like, that's awesome. And like, oh, and Brendan was like, oh man, no, that's the new X Plus. I'm like,
right.
wow. So yeah, that was definitely, you know, when you see them in person, they definitely you have a different feeling for whether you want them or not.
I mean, on occasion, I have regretted not picking something up, and but you know, not so much that I've lost, you know, any real sleep over it. But on occasion, like I probably should have picked up the giant birding Godzilla like way back, but oh well. I'm not losing sleep over it. I don't know where it would go to begin with, even if I got it. So
collector's problems.
I know, right? First world problems, I like to call them. Yeah. So to have those kind of problems, right? So.
David, did you pick up the MM28 GMK Godzilla? Because I know you initially didn't, but did you grab it afterwards?
You know, I didn't, because I still honestly, Rich, have never seen one in person. Okay. And from certain angles, it looks badass. And from certain angles, it doesn't look badass. So again, like, they're still around. You can still grab one, but I don't have that one. I think that's the only gigantic that I don't have.
No, I'm sorry. I meant the 30 centimeter that just came out. Well, no, 25 centimeter MM28 GMK.
Oh, absolutely. That one was totally took me by surprise. And a lot of you guys posted some really, really awesome shots of that one. I'm like, man. And I thought for a minute, it's too close to the other one, the Sakai sculpt, which we were lucky enough to see at X Plus HQ. So that one has a special place in my heart. But as far as detail goes, I think it's just a little bit more suit accurate. And I just love the pose, and it was definitely a surprise. And yes, I did. Absolutely. I got one eventually.
Awesome. Yeah, it is great. You know, I finally adjusted my shelves today because I needed to make some more room for more stuff. And I finally got my GMK, the MM28 one, paired up, you know, with the rest of the GMK lineup, and it scales beautifully. Yeah. And I absolutely prefer that one over the Yuji Sakai.
Yeah, I do too. I think when it comes to apples to oranges, if I didn't see the one in Japan, I wouldn't have as much fondness for it. You know what I'm saying? But, as far as just like the actual sculpt goes, and I did see at Kyle Yount's place in Portland, I saw his GNK, Baragon, Mothra, and
the Ghidra.
Yes, yeah, and the Ghidra together. And man, I kind of regret passing on those two because they are super, super cool. And now they're just really kind of hard to find and sought after. So yeah, I regret not getting. I know you have the set, and John Bumpus has the set, and I'm not sure if Jeremy has the set, but really, really. Totally spot on likeness, and I think the scale's pretty accurate, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal set. It's by far some of the best that S Plus has done.
Yeah, that's something that I kind of do lose sleep over, Robert, because you know, and again, if I never saw them in person, I would not have been, you know, as impressed by them, because I mean the Ghidra, the details on the sparkly Ghidra coloration and everything, and the Baragon is just so sweet. He's just perfect. Just perfect.
He really is. I'm just grabbing him now, but I was so excited when they announced it, because this is another figure that I was like, oh man, I really want them to do with a GMK Baragon and Mothra, so we could wrap that up, and not to make it, you know, just a little bit, you know, troublesome more for you, David, but these four figures do mark my favorite X Plus lineup to date, because I just had a lot of fun taking the picture that I took of them, whatever I took, but they all complement each other very, very well. From Godzilla's dark charcoals to Ghidra's gold, the Mothra's vibrant colors, and Baragon just looking as a badass that he does, because
they nailed it.
It's a really beautiful set. If there's anything that you add to your hunt list, make it that set, because it's really
I absolutely love that Baragon. I got some really good photos at Sunset with him that I really liked.
Yeah, you do. I love those. Those are great. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe down the line it'll get a reissue as a whole set. Who knows? I mean, X Plus always comes out with surprising announcements that we hadn't anticipated. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, maybe I'll eventually get it. And again, you know, Keith's not a huge Godzilla film fan, but he really does like GMK. So
Mothra's in it.
Yeah, Mothra's in it, you know, and it's a great story. It's got mythology in there, and I don't know what I was thinking or not thinking to not pick that up.
That's Brandy's favorite Godzilla movie. It's my second favorite.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I've said this many times. You guys, heard me say it numerous times. It's the only film outside of the Showa era to feel like a Showa film. So
yeah, totally.
I have a very big sweet spot for that.
It's the one that I use too. If somebody's like, I've never seen a Godzilla movie, which one should I watch? Honestly, I tell them to watch GMK and then watch the original.
Yep. Actually, GMK was the first movie that Jess and I watched together. So I was like, this is gonna be like the best one to watch, you know. Yeah, because like you try to watch a movie with somebody that's never seen a Godzilla film before, putting on one of the show films, they might not appreciate or get the hokiness that some of them were. So something that's modern, something that you really could probably sit down with anybody to watch that's dubbed and like, wow, this is pretty cool. So GMK. GMK's.
You know what it is too? It's a very complete film. It got its own timeline. It doesn't need continuity on the front end or the back end. It's a complete film, and it's its own thing. So again, if you guys haven't, any of you fans, I can't even imagine anyone having seen it, definitely pick it up and watch the Japanese version too. The English dubs are a little bit harder to watch than the original Japanese language ones. Just watch the subtitles, you'll get it. It's just so good. And just a little tiny tidbit about, you were talking about people not understanding or getting the cheesiness aspect of the show films. For a lot of us older guys, Steve and Robert, not really old, but like a little bit older.
Thanks, David.
We have a huge nostalgia factor for those films because we watched them when we were little. And a lot of people ask me why I'm into this stuff and why do I love the figures and this and that. For me, it all stems from the films and my really great memories of being a kid and watching these films. And that's it in a nutshell. The alpha and the omega for me are the films. That's
David,
the bottom line.
I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, you and I are not that far apart in age. We're actually very close.
Very close.
These days, I'll sound even older. Kids these days with your Hulu and your Netflix and your YouTube and your DVR. So it was an event at my house.
Totally, absolutely.
When you went through your TV guide that you bought at the supermarket and saw that, Ghidorah the three-headed monster or Godzilla versus Megalon or King Kong versus Godzilla was going to be on KTVU Channel 2 or Channel 5 in San Francisco. Like, you tuned in. Like, I ate dinner around that to tune in.
WOR Channel 9, New York channel. And my father circled, we all like dinosaurs when we were kids, right?
Yep.
That's how we all sort of got started in the whole thing. My father saw this listing in TV Guide, Monster Zero, and he used to circle things in the TV Guide that he thought I would like. And I didn't know what Monster Zero was. I didn't know what Godzilla was or Rodan. So that was my very first one. And I watched it. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. When Rodan comes out of the rock, when the spaceship takes him out of the I was like, what is that thing? Well, I didn't even know what it was. What is that thing?
Yeah.
And all I know is Godzilla was a cool dinosaur, and they had spaceships and, that kind of thing. So for me, all of this passion and love and interest in collecting, it all stems from the films. And now, having said that, there's a new element to it, which is in front of me right here, all you guys, the great friends and people that I've met through this community. And everybody's kind of astounded that we all connected through this hobby that we have and this love for these films and toys. But it's a real thing. And that's why we're also looking forward to G-Fest, so we can get to hang out and have a cigar and a glass of whiskey and, that kind of stuff, which will be happening very soon.
It was just such a special event, for me to watch those films as a kid.
Oh, definitely.
Take that with you. So it's like those goofy, googly-eyed suits that people laugh at today, they were not funny back then. That's just what we had.
Not funny.
So, yeah, not to me. So that, and David and I are kindred spirits. It was that and Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I would still say is one of the greatest monster suits ever made.
Most definitely.
I would have to agree with that too. I love Creature from Black Lagoon.
Thank you.
I mean, Rich and Jeremy and John, you know, you guys didn't watch them from when, I mean, you started with the Heiseis, right? Is that true?
I mean, we were around when Godzilla movies were still coming out. So, I mean, I have all the tapes that my dad would record for me, like when you could record them in a VHS.
But what started your love? Was it the Heisei or the Showas? What was your initial introduction?
I had all the, well, when I was really young was before, like, there was only Godzilla 1984 and Godzilla vs. Biollante, which were never shown in the States. It was always the Showa films that were on. It was always Monster Zero, and always Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla versus King Kong, and I remember Sea Monster they played a lot, and Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yep.
And,
well, didn't they in the 90s?
Yeah, I used to, like, my dad would record them all, and I would have them. And then as the Heisei films were coming out through the 90s, we would hunt the videotapes together.
Yes.
They were so hard to find, and that was so much fun. Like, that's all of those memories that you guys are talking about. It's, yeah, like, that's all the way through the Heisei films too, because I mean, the age of the internet and information didn't start really until a decade ago.
Yeah.
So
me,
that was a huge part of it for me too.
How about you,
I
Rich?
saw 84 with my grandmother at the theater. I was a sophomore in high school.
That's awesome.
Because it was 85 here.
That's the only Godzilla film I ever saw in the movies besides, you know, the newer ones, the Millennium.
Really did?
I saw Godzilla 85 at in Toms River, New Jersey, at Cinema Alley with my best friend at the time, Louis D'Arienzo, in 1985. And yeah.
I honestly don't even know which was my first film. Lucky for me, my mom was a huge Godzilla fan, so I've been watching it since I could even remember.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
The VHS tapes, I remember we'd go to the grocery store and just the artwork on them, I'd be amazed to see their new Godzilla VHS ready for me to watch, and I always loved that. That was always something to look forward to.
And David, I don't know about you, but I used the VHS tapes and would pause them when they were shaky for model painting, because we didn't have the internet for all this great research material. So you watch the movies, you know, and you tape them or you buy the VHS tapes. And that was I don't know about you, David, that was my reference material.
No, I never even thought to do that, but that's a good idea. But what I did do is take my father's old school tape recorder and record Godzilla versus the Smog Monster and listen to it back.
Nice.
I would give money to find those old cassette tapes, but they're probably long gone. But
you know, now anyway. If I want like a high def image of Ebirah, I just take this like super high powered computer out of my pocket with a high def screen, and up it comes.
Yeah, cool.
You know, so I think because there was so much more work involved to actually be a fan when we were kids,
maybe it's
right.
Yeah, I mean, or not. We didn't have anything.
It was not cool to be a monster fan when I was like 10. Let me put it that way. At all.
Are we going over? Are we talking over the time limit or what?
No. I mean, you know, I will like try to keep it 2 minutes, 2 hours. But
okay,
let's wrap up this topic. You know, because it's a cool topic. You know, what was our first that got into it? I'll add. I was all Showa up until I first saw Godzilla versus Biollante. But my first Godzilla film was Godzilla versus Megalon. So that's why I have a big sweet spot for that movie.
Understand.
Yes, it's very much like a WWF style wrestling match with all its hokiness. But I didn't think about this until only this past week when I did my Rodan 56 review. Rodan was my very first kaiju film. It was not.
Really?
Yeah, I clearly remember it was Rodan because we talked about this. I forget who I was talking to about it. Maybe James. I will never forget how that movie scared the shit out of me as a kid because the Mega Nuon, that creepy sound that they make, whatever, you know, yep, I did that in the review. But that creature, that noise in a dark, flooded tunnel, and seeing the bodies get dragged out and into the hospital, mutilated, was disturbing. And I was maybe 4 years old when I first saw that movie, and it was like, this is messed up. I remember when the earthquake happened and the giant, the whole mountain just caved in. I thought it was spectacular. I'm like, wow, that looks amazing. Yeah. It was scary. And that was my very first kaiju film, was Rodan, 1956. And again, it didn't really hit me until I thought about it when I was doing my review this week for it. So, but I was all Showa. All Showa.
I absolutely agree with you, 100%.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I had the same reaction to Them. You remember Them?
That's another one I haven't seen.
With that noise with the giant ants?
Well, yeah, I know of it. I've never even seen it.
Well, you guys know that Honda's inspiration for the Mega Neuron and the tunnels was the movie Them.
Yep.
And he based a lot of that imagery on the 50s film Them, which is one of the greatest USA giant atomic insect films, in my opinion. And
yep.
I agree with you, Rich. I was terrified of that tunnel. I mean, I'm claustrophobic, so the tunnel and the fact that when he was trapped in the cave and he saw the egg hatching, that, and just the sounds and the music and everything, it really, I think Rodan is actually a part horror film and like science fiction horror, because the first half of the film is, and you don't even know what Rodan is yet. You know there's something in there, and then even the people that are honeymooning on Mount Aso, they get picked up by something, and then her bloody shoes laying there. It's pretty scary stuff, and really well done and effective, if you ask me.
Yeah, I watched it just a few nights ago. The night that I edited my review, I put it on because it's on Xfinity Demand. So I put it on. Well, it was such a nostalgia trip for me, and hearing Rodan screech for the first time, and it brought me right back to when I watched the movie as a kid. And I was like, man, this really is a good movie. So a lot of fun with that. Did anybody else not touch on this topic? Jeremy?
I'm just thinking back to it. I remember watching it as a kid. I just remember the fire back behind Rodan and all the chaos. I need to go back and rewatch that film. I think, honestly, it would have been nice to have a Godzilla versus Rodan film just by itself with that version of Rodan. I think would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Totally. You touched on that in your review, Rich, and I absolutely agreed with it. Imagine if the 64 Rodan was actually the 56 Rodan, which is actually a terrifying flesh-eating reptile and not some goofy sidekick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it is, but that would have been much more effective to me and believable than what we got. But it worked out for the direction that the series was going into. They wanted to move into a lighter, more lighthearted, children's vibe to it. And
that's why it worked.
Yeah,
Rodan, the way he looked more appealing to kids.
Yeah, totally.
He looked like a goof, which was more friendly looking. And obviously the conversation between Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra. It felt like, Godzilla's like, why should I care about the humans, blah, 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 blah. So it worked. It wouldn't have worked with the scary Rodan, though. You're right. No, there was that Rodan was no mercy, version, basically. So.
And how excited would we be for 30 centimeter Rodan, 56 Rodan?
You know what? Maybe this is why X Plus does reissues. They test the waters with a reissue. See how many they sell with, today with their market. And if they sell enough of the new Rick reissue 56, maybe they'll do a 30 centimeter. It's like, there's enough interest out there. Let's do a wide release of a 30 centimeter 57 or 56 rather. So that would be pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
All right. I want to open it up to some questions from the audience that's out there watching. So I'm going to pull up my handy little mobile phone here that tells me what's going on in the world. So anybody that's watching, if you have a question, shoot it up in the comments, and we're going to do a couple questions. We're going to start off, with everybody that's here on the panel, and we will go with that for a few minutes, and then we're going to wrap up, and then we'll see everybody at G-Fest. So questions. Let's see. 30 centimeter is a chance to fix the balance issue with the stand, like I suggested. Albert Escobedo, not necessarily a question, but you made a statement. So I'm going to start off with you because I saw it. If X Plus does another Rodan, it would be good if they include a stand of some sort, maybe a rock base to put the foot in, because which was interesting when I took out my 56 Rodan. I had trouble in the past with him falling over. Put him on my table here. He was standing up fine. For the most part, it wasn't tipping over, but the one of the feet, it's not perfectly, it's not flat, flush on the table. Unlike now the 64 Rodan, that guy just wants a face plant onto any, shelf or table that you have him on, because the wings, they're made out of vinyl. So a lot of the weight's on the wingtips, and they will bend and warp, and which will lead the figure to falling over. So, John, I know you have the 56 Rodan. Do you have any issues with you're nodding? Yes, so you have some issues. How is yours?
I was just nodding that I have him. I've got Varan in front of him, Varan, however you want to say it. The 25 centimeter, the crawling Varan, and his tail like wedges perfectly into the middle of the left wing. Because I just think that whole era looks so good together, like all the solo films. Like I have the 61 Mothra, and then I have the crawling Varan and Rodan together. So, but yeah, if he's not like properly helped, boosted by something, he's gonna fall forward. The worst culprits for me though are the 60s Rodans are just really bad about taking dives. The 20, like I sold the 30 centimeter because that thing is huge. It's a cool figure, but it always fell. And so I dove out for the 25 centimeter because it takes up a lot less room and it's pretty much an identical sculpt. But yeah, they all dive, but they're so worth having though. Rodan is like one of the coolest kaiju ever of all time. So
yep, very.
Agreed.
The best thing to do with any Rodan figure, even if it's standing up fine or not, is to give him a leaning buddy. My 30 centimeter Rodan above me, he has a Mothra larva and the 30 centimeter Angurus off to his sides to help support those wings just a little bit extra. My 64 Rodan, he's kind of leaning back on the shelf right now just to stand up. So, but get them some leaning buddies. Brendan, do you agree? Brendan agrees. Leaning buddies. All right. Who else has David, do you have any Rodan figures?
I do. I have both the 25 centimeter 64 and the 56, the reissue that's coming. You're right, John. The 64 just is totally top heavy. If you don't lean him against something or someone, he's going to take a header. But my 56 doesn't necessarily fall over, but he leans and bends. You know what I mean? He doesn't look right. It's not a good thing. So Albert, hopefully, you guys will get one that's been addressed, because I do have a Showa Gauss figure, and the Rick one came with a little cloud rock base, and you stick his foot in there, and it kind of supports him without having a leaning buddy. So yeah, no, he's not he doesn't fall, but he looks weird and he's not standing the right way. So yeah.
Hey, well, Jeremy, you got Rodans? I know you do. You have any issues?
Yeah, he always falls over. Matter of fact, when I'm hiking with him, I was scared that he was going to tumble off the side of the cliff that I was on. So,
really going to go flying that time.
Yeah, I was actually pretty scared on that behalf, but somehow he stood up. I had the same shelves as John, and I had to wedge the wings an entire length across to hold them up. And I put them on the bottom shelf because countless times I'd come down here and he'd be on the floor. So
yeah, fresh. All right, I got a question from Lucas Cantu. I just have to entertain this because I think this is funny. Lucas asks, why is he here? Why are you here, Lucas? Because you're here to get fresh. That's why. Next question. Glad I entertained that because that was funny.
Here because your mother made a mistake.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I don't know how PC we are right now, but somebody can pull out. Just
Wow. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna entertain another question that is gonna be a sensitive subject for some people, and I don't really care because this is my show, our show, whatever. Michael Tchaikovsky asks if I'm going to wish I bought one of those $80 Bandai Gargantuas of Frankenstein, and my simple answer is no, because I'd rather spend $20 more and get the X Plus versions that are bigger and better detailed, and that's that. Because I just don't think the Bandai ones are worth it. Sorry. Sue me. I don't care. But I will add, this is not entirely just a jab at whatever the prices are, but I will add that if I was a dealer selling those Bandai premium figures, in order to get them, you have to fork up at least $40, give or take, depending on the exchange rate, from Japan to get the figure, just to buy it. Then you got to pay for shipping to get it to your door. Then you got to pay to get the boxes and then sell it and make a profit. So I understand the logic behind, they were anywhere between $65 and $80, $85 to sell them here in the United States. So the dealers do have to fork up the money to get the figures in their hands to sell to people that can't buy from the Bandai Premium website. So I get it. So this is not a jab at any of the dealers out there that don't like my opinion, because I know, I'm not dumb. People talk, okay? But no, I don't think it's worth it. I've said it to numerous collectors because numerous collectors ask me. It's like, what do you think? Should I get the Bandai Premiums or should I get the X Plus? I'm like, dude, get the X Plus. They're wide release. They're on all the major Japanese retail websites for $20 more, better detail, bigger figure. Case closed. That's my opinion. So if the general public dealers don't like it, tough shit. Sorry. All right, next question. So anybody else want to add to that? I know that was.
I think you pretty much covered it. So.
I know it's blunt, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I agree to a point what you said, but for me, I love Frankenstein so much. I just wanted to have another one, and there's so little representation, hardly any representations of that figure. I just went ahead and did it regardless because, and that was actually before they announced the X Plus. So, it is kind of overkill, but someone like me who, like, if you're in love with the figure, that, it's not around, like, if it's a Godzilla figure, absolutely 100% I understand. But Frankenstein, there's like, what, 4 figures total, if that.
Yeah.
And so that one would be an exception to the rule for me. But other than that, yeah, you're right.
I mean, and I get it. Like, I think it's great that Bandai brought new show of figures. I mean, I dropped my jaw when I heard these announced, but then, with the reality of it is they weren't going to be $40 for us to buy them. No, I remember some of the dealers saying that if anybody thinks they're going to spend $40 on them, they're crazy. Yeah, it is crazy to think that I would spend only $40 on them. So I made a decision that I was like, was it worth it to me? No, it wasn't. And I kept my fingers crossed for X Plus to do these figures, and they did. Again, I'm not knocking. I mean, it does sound like I'm knocking the dealers that are selling them, or I'm knocking Bandai Premium. Yeah, I get it, but I get both sides of the spectrum. If I was a dealer, of course I need to make a profit on what I'm selling because I got to fork up the money to get them in my hands, to get them in your hands. I get it, but from a collector standpoint, it wasn't worth the the money, especially when X Plus announced theirs. What, a month or so? I think Frankenstein was announced by X Plus a month after the Bandai Premium Frankenstein came out. So I'm like, yes, so glad I waited.
Yeah.
So, but not a popular opinion coming from me. I get it. So sue me. All right. Who did anybody else pick up the Bandai Premium figures?
Yep, I've got all 3. So
it's awesome, and I think it's great. That again, that Bandai put these figures out to those collectors that wanted. To keep a complete Bandai lineup. It's just, we all have our opinions and tastes, so nobody should get knocked for that.
The Frankenstein, I love the Frankenstein. The pose is a lot more dynamic than the X Plus too. He looks really good with the crawling. So yeah, he's definitely worth having. The tag looks awesome too.
Yeah, I do agree. I do like the pose on the Bandai Frankenstein over the standard X Plus.
Big time.
But
oh look, it's Vanna White. Here to show you.
There it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
It does look good. I there's no denying that figure, it is a beautiful figure. And
I love this thing.
Yeah.
I have them, Rich, but I did pay the $40 each for them.
Yeah, and again, Steve, you have access to that. So therefore,
at above that it would have been questionable for me.
Well, ladies and gents, we're going to dinner. This has been awesome.
All right, John, take it easy.
Thanks for having us as always. Thanks for
see you later, John. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye, John.
Man.
John,
see most of you in a month in Chicago.
Yeah, look forward to it, man.
Bye, Brandy.
Stay fresh.
Bye. Yeah. Absolutely.
To the
but overall,
Bandai
Premium Bandai Premium figures, yes, they are a great addition to a Bandai collection. No knocking that. But again, we all...
To be fair, Rich, the prototypes looked far and away better.
They did. We saw those at G-Fest.
Yeah, they did. They lost a little bit of the detail, but...
And paint, big time. And they made it to San Diego that year as well. So right after G-Fest, they were at Comic-Con. I saw them. I was like, oh, yeah, got to have them. And, yeah.
All right, let's see. Next question from Enter the Darkness 23. Thoughts on the legendary Godzilla sequel that's coming out next year?
I think it's coming next year.
Next year, yes. I'm actually a little excited. I watched Godzilla 2014 for the first time in a while, about a month ago, and I still have my issues with it. I think the acting was piss poor for the most part, but I did have fun watching it again. It does look great on a PlayStation 4 Pro for the Blu-ray. But as far as the sequel coming, I've heard nothing but good things from the early press, early media screenings or whatever we're going to call it. So I guess I'm optimistic, yet kind of excited to see where they go with it. So, David?
I'm just going to say one little thing. It's not my cup of tea. You know, if you're into 2014, cool. You know, it's going to be like a bigger, you know, more exciting version of that. And it seems like to me, but you know what? I could care less. I've got enough like other Godzilla movies to watch, and I don't even know if I'm going to go see it, to be honest. I'm not my cup of tea, not a fan, and that should be okay.
Yep.
Don't have to love everything. And I'll just leave it at that.
To each their own is the way I see it.
Yep, that's right.
Yep, absolutely.
Anybody else want to add on that?
I'll see it. I'm hoping for the best. I'm expecting the worst. So hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised.
All right. Next question from Liam Foley. Big shout out, dude. You're always watching my stuff. You know, you're a good follower. I still got to get you a shirt. I know you asked, and I'm being just lazy. But Liam asks, what are the chances X Plus will do a 30-centimeter Godzilla 65/66?
Ooh.
I want to say they should, because I know the 25-centimeter 66 that's over here, right here. Yep, even Trixie, or was that Spanky? They agree X Plus should do.
Spanky's
yep. Yeah. I don't want to say, from my personal opinion, anything's possible with X Plus. You know, they come out of the, from left field with some of these announcements and, these new figures. So I think the best thing to think about would be, it's just a matter of time. Again, the 65 right here, the last time we saw this release was in 2013 for Summer Wonderfest, when it was reissued with Ebra over here too. But that was 5 years ago. We have not seen a 65 since. So I think it's safe to say that a 65 or 66, whichever. Actually, I prefer a 30-centimeter 65 for Monster Zero version before the Sea Monster version. But I just think it's a matter of time. So we shall see.
Can we get a 30-centimeter Ebira to go with it while we're at it?
I mean, I honestly, an X Plus, if you're watching, I know you're not, but still, one could hope. You got to put Ebra on a freaking rock, because without a rock or something, it just doesn't work by itself. So I'm actually using the rock from the Mothra and Manda set for him to rest on, and it just makes the figure feel complete. So a rock, just for base purposes. Anyway.
Thanks for having me on, gentlemen. I'm going to have to drop here pretty soon.
All righty, Jeremy. Thank you for coming on.
See you guys. Appreciate it. Yep. See you guys.
All right. Let's
Rich,
do. Yes.
If you sculpt it properly, you do not need a rock.
Oh.
Yeah. You hear that, X Plus? If you sculpt it properly. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold that up. Keep holding that up. I'm going to put the camera on you. Wow.
Is that the Falchion kit?
No, this is the Resin Chef from Bill. This is the Resin Chef 30-centimeter.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it stands perfect without a rock.
Wow.
Nice. That is beautiful.
Its proportions are pretty spot on, I think.
One of the best, if not the very best Ebira I've seen.
Wow. I break those antennas off in 3 seconds if I had that kit, though.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
David, you would not.
Yes, I would.
See me do it. You see it, right?
All right,
Wow.
last question. Last question, and we're going to call it a night before we all head to G-Fest in about a month. All right, so from Godzilla 9009, his question is, I want to know from everyone on the crew, which Sofubi glowy would any of you like to see get made if there one isn't already? So basically, what figure would we like to be a glowy or get? Or
That's
basically,
an interesting question.
yeah. So I have to think about that. Does anybody have one off the top of their head?
I got to think for a sec.
I would take a glowy Ghidorah for sure. That would probably
I already have one.
So, well, another one then, because I don't own any. If something that hasn't been made, probably. I don't know. I think they've made a glowy everything, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't know either. That's a tough one.
I mean, for me, I would just want a Ghidorah, period. So
I have to
Good
look.
man.
maybe a Rodan. Not.
How about, I think what would be cool is maybe a glowy Planet X saucer. How would that be? Like a painted glow Planet X saucer. How would that be? I think that would be really sweet.
Yes, sign me up for that. I
Much-
don't even have one. I would love it. I need to get one of those model kits.
Much like Steve's that he
I
showed us.
just did one.
You just did one. That's why it was in my mind. Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
good, so cool about that, David? We're gonna get to see some awesome pics. That was for Steve Heron.
Oh, neat. Oh, neat. Okay, great. So
Right?
it'll be in a diorama soon.
I can't wait to see what he does with it.
Cool.
All right. One more quick question. One that, let's see. Now, Brandon Mello, his question is, this is not going to be a very popular question, Brandon. I'm just letting you know. Would it be a good idea if Bandai made an 8-inch Godzilla 98 figure?
Would it be a good idea?
Yeah.
If you like Godzilla 98, it would be a good idea. But for me, it would not be a good idea. How's that?
Yeah.
I'll answer this as politely as I can. I don't think it would sell well enough to justify it being made. I personally have the only Godzilla 98 figure I will ever have, and the only reason I have it is because it's gigantic. I will never buy another figure from that film. So I don't think it would make them enough money to even be worth the time. So just from a business standpoint, so yeah. So no, I don't think it'd be a good idea at all.
Yeah.
The only one that makes sense to me at all, would be if it were Zilla from Final Wars. And if it went in a Final Wars set, fine.
Well, maybe
That's the only thing that to me would go, oh, all right, I see a point to it. I think back in the day, I had a sales sheet with Zilla listed as being made by Bandai, along with a few other monsters. And when the film didn't perform apparently as they wanted to, that wave was canceled by Bandai. But that's the only way I would ever remotely want to see one of those made.
All right. One more question, because I actually like this question. What are the chances of X Plus doing a King Ghidorah 91? Where'd the question go? Nocturnal Shadow asked that. I think that's a good opportunity or good chance, but that is going to be a hard figure to do. No different than the Showa King Ghidorah was. We're talking big ass wings, much probably similar. I think they would be even bigger than the Showa Ghidorah, because the Heisei version had massive wings. There's been a lot of detail on that figure if they do one. I don't think I think it's just a matter of time. If we remember back in 2013, was it 2000? When did Kyle went to Japan and he actually met with G at X Plus? I think that was his first time meeting them.
That was 2013, I believe. I think so.
All right, so yeah, it was November. He went.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was November, and he went. Yes, that's true.
I think it's safe to say, obviously after The figure's been out for like three years now. You know, he said that X Plus, actually he said it on one of his videos, I believe he did back on YouTube, but X Plus was working on one, and it took them a year to get that figure to stand up right, because there was concern with, if you did the wings with vinyl, the wings would droop because they were so thin. So they had to perfect the wings with ABS plastic, get the figure to balance itself. The Showa Ghidorah, his legs are filled with resin, from my understanding, to keep the figure weighted. The tail, it's fixed to the figure to help keep it balanced. So there was a lot of work that went into the Showa Ghidorah, and if they are going to do a Heisei version, there's going to be a lot of work that goes into that, because it's a massive figure. It's very big, and it needs to be done right. And that's why I'm glad X Plus spent a lot of time working on the Showa version. And we all lost our crap when that figure was announced, because we were all asking for a long time, when? And when they teased it, or now they showed it at one of those toy shows, everybody lost their minds. Like, finally, we were getting a Ghidorah. So Nocturnal Shadow, it's a matter of time. I mean, that's the only Ghidorah that we don't have now, aside from Mecha Ghidorah, which I'm sure wouldn't be long after a Heisei version.
Honestly,
but have everything else.
I think we're also going to eventually see a Grand Ghidorah from the Mothra.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
We got the other two. So we got we got the Kaiser and the Death Ghidorah. Pretty sure we're eventually going to see that. I think we're going to see all three eventually. So.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's a matter of time. X Plus is not really slowing down.
To be fair, I think like with the Grand Ghidorah and or with like the Death Ghidorah, it was an existing model kit. It was easy for them to port that over.
True.
Whereas I know there are some Grand Ghidorah kits, but I don't know if there are any in that scale. I think the 91 and the Mecha are simply a matter of time, but the 91 has these different shaped wings. As you can see, they go very tall at the top. Yeah. It's a different shape. It's not the same as the Showas. So I think that's where you would have a lot of height shelf issues. Personally, I think if you're going to do it and you're going to have the issues they went through before, they should do like a flying pose and mount it with a rod.
Yeah.
Don't let gravity have its way with it at all.
So bottom line for those, I don't, who asked that question, Rich? What was his name?
Nocturnal Shadow, I believe it was.
Okay. Well, for him and anyone else who's probably wondering what won't come out from X Plus, I would bet pretty much everything will eventually see the light of day. It all depends on, like what Steve said, if there's an existing kit that they could base it on, or if they have a sculptor who's, can do that kind of a figure. The only thing that may not see the light of day is a COM for licensing issues. So, but I think if we just be patient, eventually we're going to see all of it, because these guys from X Plus, G especially, he's a fan first and foremost. So he wants to see these made. It's not just about money. He loves this stuff. So, and I know he's a huge show guy, like some of us are. So I absolutely think for the person who asked about the 65. I'm almost certain that's going to come sooner than later. This is not something that I have inside information on. I'm just speculating, but I have a feeling that will come out, sooner than later. And the Heisei stuff, I think they're a little bit slower with that because it's more detailed. And but yeah, I think if we're patient, aside from the Kong, we're gonna eventually see everything.
Yeah, history has shown us that's the case.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. That is going to be it for tonight. Thank you, everybody that's watching. Thank you for the questions. I know we can't get to them all. So with that said, if you're going to be at G-Fest and you're going to be attending the Fresh Vinyl Live panel, we'll talk about some X Plus stuff and some other new stuff that's coming out. But we're gonna pull people up from the audience again and have you guys be a part of it with us, because really that's what it's about. We're all collectors, and I like getting you guys involved. And so that will be Saturday at noon in Ballroom 1, following the Summit Kaiju panel. And then immediately after Fresh Vinyl Live, we will be doing What You Bought in the Dealer's Room video again. That had a good turn. It had a great turnout last year, especially after we did it the year before. So we will be doing. It was fun. I thought it was great. you know, because I mean, all right, the spotlight, I put it on myself all the time when we're doing these reviews. So I like to flip the switch and put it on you guys that watch and that come to the panel, and get you involved, because I just think it's that was the whole purpose of me starting Fresh Vinyl Reviews back in 2013, was to contribute, get involved, and have fun with other people, the things that we enjoy. So I'll wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. We will all see you at G-Fest in like 3.5 weeks. Until then, remember, people, buy vinyl, fresh vinyl. Bam.